That's hilarious. I was muted the entire time. Yo, shout out Pravi. So, I'm saying we've got 330 bucks to make 535. We're day trading the Jerome Powell speech. We've got a cost of 330 bucks to make $534 on the Trump speech. I am looking at the wrong speech there. Let's do recent trades. Yeah. 400 bucks to make 700. Here's some money. My strikes I have him yes to say shutdown because the last time there was a government shutdown was in 2019. And during that Fed meeting, he said shutdown 11 different times. I know this is not a Fed meeting. This is a one-off speech at an economic forum. But the shutdown is so prevalent. We're in the middle of it, too. I think he's going to say shutdown. It's more likely than not. My biggest position, 269 bucks to win 500 on good afternoon. No good afternoon, right? He says good afternoon at every Fed meeting, and the trend is when it's not a Fed meeting and it's a one-off speech like it is today, he's not going to say good afternoon. That's my guess. And then no pardon, right? The strike of pardon is if he says pardon, it's going to be pardon me after a cough. I've bought no pardon just because it got so high. I got it at 55 cents. That should not be happening, right? I think there is more chance than not that he doesn't cough today and say bless you or pardon me. So those are my strikes. Those are the words I'm betting on. 400 bucks to win 700. So we're going with no good afternoon, yes on a shutdown, and no pardon. We don't have Jerome Powell speaking yet, but I do want to be ready for the good afternoon just in case.
Kathleen, Yale, and Julia for your service.
We're going to be having it up.
For your leadership and for your lasting contributions to our community. And not last contributions, but lasting, because I know you're not quite going anywhere, just rolling up.
Don't send me your cash app, just bet on no good afternoon.
And we will,
on Kalshi.
do a quick picture. Your plaques have not arrived, unfortunately.
Supply chain issues.
Jerome Powell is set to speak in about 8 minutes. We're going to have some fun. We're going to hope for a no good afternoon. That is our biggest win. This market is a win no matter what if we just don't get a good afternoon. We're hoping it is a Fed meeting niche. Just the good afternoons. Bum, bum,
Right.
bum, bum.
Now we'll move on to our awards presentation. So normally when we have such a well-known and respected speaker, I would say this person needs no introduction.
I can.
And you would rather
I can't
hear
lose it all,
them
man.
speak than hear me speak about them. But at this moment, and in the case of the presentation of the Adam Smith Award, I think it's more than appropriate that we take a moment to appreciate exactly who it is.
Oh yes, Jerome Powell, the
So Jerome Powell first took office as chair of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System in February of 2018 for a 4-year term. He was reappointed to the office and sworn in.
I thought they were bringing him out like a UFC. I thought they were giving him an intro.
He serves as
You should wait till after the Weekend League because after Weekend League players get pumped up.
policymaking body.
They become more, they become more expensive because people want to use them. So you should wait till after the Weekend League.
25th, 2012 to fill an unexpired term, and he was reappointed to the board in June of 2014 for a term ending in January of 2020.
Whole YouTube chat just spamming bye.
Scholar at the Bipartisan Policy Center in Washington, D.C., where he focused on federal and state fiscal issues. From 1997 to 2005, he was a partner at the Carlyle Group. He served as an assistant secretary and as an undersecretary of the U.S. Department of the Treasury under President George H.W. Bush, with responsibility for policy on financial institutions, the Treasury debt market, and related areas. And prior to joining the Bush administration,
I don't know
he was a
Swanson.
lawyer
Oh,
and
the
investment
woman?
banker in New York City.
Faraz woman in his team.
In addition to service on corporate boards, Mr. Powell has served on charitable and educational institutional boards, including the Bentheim Center for Finance.
We're seeing the market agree with our good afternoon, right?
Of Washington, D.C. and Maryland. And of course, among his many other professional engagements, he has been a
No
strong
Pardon has gone all the way down
supporter
too.
of the National Association for Business Economics. And we are
It just
very
got way
proud
too
of
high,
his
right?
engagement.
Like this 63, the 63 price movement here, I copped it up at 55. That's just way too high for Pardon Me.
The Adam Smith Award is NABE's highest
And we're
honor.
hoping this is like a 50-50 chance. We're just hoping for a no good afternoon when he pops out.
Whose ideas about economics
We're gonna hope his wife has been giving him some grief. We're gonna hope he woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. We're gonna hope Jerome Powell has a horrible afternoon today.
Said to me, this is our Hall of Fame. Past recipients include several Fed.
Well, then there's no point. You should just use her on your bench or something.
Arthur Laffer, Susan Athey, and going a little bit further back, William Poole from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and Lawrence Klein, who won the award in 2004. We are very pleased today to be awarding this honor to Jerome Powell.
There you go.
Jerome Powell's exemplary
Come on,
leadership
Jerome.
as chair of the
That'd be
Federal
Jerome.
Reserve, especially in navigating the complexities of monetary policy during challenging times, has had a profound and lasting impact on both the U.S. economy and the global financial system. Under his stewardship, the Federal Reserve has effectively managed unprecedented economic challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, by taking a thoughtful and data-driven approach to monetary policy setting. His decisive actions
Is COVID a
to
strike
support
on this one?
economic
It's not.
recovery
I think it is. I think it is for the Trump one, but
and ensure a resilient financial system have demonstrated an unwavering commitment to U.S. economic growth and well-being. The strength of his leadership has also earned him the respect of policymakers, economists, and business leaders worldwide. His work, particularly in the areas of monetary policy, financial regulation, and economic resilience, absolutely align with the ideals of the Adam Smith Award. He has consistently applied foundational economic
I'm feeling good on the
principles
shutdown. It
to address
consistently went up
real-world
over time.
challenges, upholding the Federal Reserve's high standards of sound economic management and
That's steady
transparent
upward growth.
policymaking in the process. So with
I
that,
think as
I'm
the
very pleased to
markets
welcome to this
mature,
stage Chair
the
Jerome
price gets more actualized, like everything gets priced in, it becomes more sharp. So I'm saying that's a good sign for the shutdown at least. Whoa, Jerome, you've really changed, huh? Here we go!
Thank you.
Jerome!
Here we go. Thank you very much. You got a camera somewhere?
I thought we did, but maybe not.
There we go. We don't have a camera. There we go.
Here we go. We need no good afternoon here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Holy, the suspense is killing me. Come on, Jerome. No good afternoon.
Thank you, Emily. And thanks to the National Association for
Yes!
Business Economics for the Adam Smith Award.
Yes!
It, for me, is an unexpected honor just to be mentioned alongside many of your past recipients, including
I
particularly
see.
my predecessors, Janet Yellen and
I think he
and-
dodged
so thank you
it!
very much for this recognition.
Yes!
I will say on a more
He
personal note,
dodged it! Yes!
my regular visits to your annual meeting and your conferences. It's really been my favorite
Cha-ching!
all these years.
Cha-ching!
It's a place.
Holy cha-ching! Thank you, Jerome! Yes!
This is a place where we can talk about economic issues and not worry that someone's eyes might glaze over.
Glaze!
I also
Dude,
appreciate
I
the
will
warm
happily
welcome
glaze
I've
you,
always,
Jerome.
received here.
He skipped a good afternoon,
For a
baby!
minute, I can't think of a more lovable group of econ nerds anywhere.
Oh my god, if we get a shutdown here, we are cooking! Oh my
So thank you
god,
again
yes,
for this
Jerome!
prestigious award. And for the opportunity to speak to you here today. So,
Jalen!
as we all know,
Let's get
monetary
Jalen, bro.
policy
We
is
just
more effective when the public understands what the Federal Reserve does.
Just made
and why.
300 bucks.
With that in mind, I hope to
250
enhance
bucks.
understanding of one of the more arcane and technical aspects of
$250,
monetary
right?
policy,
Like that.
the Federal Reserve's balance sheet.
Ooh,
A
balance
colleague
sheet.
recently compared this topic to a trip to the dentist.
Oh, I'm used to the Fed meeting.
I found that
balance sheet is a
comparison somewhat
goddamn.
unfair to dentists. So today, I'll discuss the essential role that our balance sheet played during the pandemic, along
Bro,
with some
just
lessons
tail,
learned.
just tail on this Jerome
I'll
market,
then review
bro.
our
Get in on shutdown while you
reserves
can, bro.
implementation framework and the progress we've made toward normalizing the size of our balance sheet.
We're going with shutdown here. He's going with the Fed meeting approach. He said shutdown 11 different times during the last shutdown in 2019. I'm saying shutdown here is a lock. We got 250 bucks on our dodge of good afternoon. Jerome Powell. Thank you to his wife for not cooking him breakfast today. Let's fucking go. He had a bad afternoon.
Total. First, Federal Reserve notes, that is physical currency, totaled $2.4 trillion. Second, reserves, funds held by
GB.
depository institutions at Federal Reserve banks.
That's embarrassing,
totaled
brother.
$3 trillion.
Failing GEB is embarrassing.
These deposits allow commercial banks to make and receive payments and meet regulatory requirements. Reserves are the safest and most liquid asset in the financial system, and
just
only
need a
the
shutdown
Fed
here.
can create them. The adequate provision of reserves is essential to the safety and soundness of our banking system, the resilience and efficiency of our payment system, and ultimately the stability of our economy. Third is the Treasury General Account, or TGA, currently at about $800 billion, which is essentially the checking account for the federal government. When the Treasury makes or receives payments, those flows affect dollar for dollar the supply of reserves or other liabilities in the system.
He's talking about our failing financial system, right? This is almost like he's getting an award, right, for his lecture, but this is almost like an emergency Tim Dillon show podcast where it's like, oh shit, the government shut down. We need our goddamn economic leader to pump up some of our S&P, to pump up some of our BTC because it's crashing.
Seller. This process effectively transforms securities
Seems
held by
like
the
a
public into
future of
reserves,
him working
but does
out
not
Ross.
change the total amount of government liabilities
Who
held
are you
by
talking
the
about?
public.
You talking about Ray or Jalen?
So,
Wow.
The Fed's balance sheet
you
serves
talking
as a
about GB?
critical policy tool.
Yeah, the GEB boy. Yeah. I'll tell you, okay. By the way, I have a finance degree, as you could obviously tell. As you could obviously tell, I have a finance degree. I've got a finance degree, okay? Right? All right. So obviously I know what Jerome Powell is going to say. That's what that means. That's that correlation. But GEB was like, okay, you know how you make jokes about in business school, like the coloring class? That's the coloring class, bro. That they give you a red crayon, Crayola, and they say draw a rose. And if you can just write on piece of paper, you get a C+ at least. And this guy's failing it, by the way. He used the wrong color. They told him to draw a rose, and he picked up the yellow crayon. That's literally like how you fail GEB.
Securities to restore functionality to the Treasury market. Faced with unprecedented market dysfunction, the Fed purchased Treasury and agency securities at an extraordinary pace in March and April of 2020. These purchases supported the flow of credit to households and businesses and fostered more accommodative financial conditions to support the recovery of the economy when it
I'm happy with the
came.
shutdown, to hold the shutdown.
This source of policy accommodation was particularly important as we had already lowered the federal funds rate close to
This
zero.
meeting is
and
supposed,
expected
it's around
to
35-40
some
minutes. At least the last one was, so.
By June 2020, we slowed our purchase pace to a still substantial $120 billion per month. And in December of 2020, as the economic outlook remained highly uncertain,
You gotta do better,
the
right?
FOMC said that we expected to maintain that pace
Or
of
else
purchases
you will end up
until
working at
substantial
Ross,
further
bro.
progress has been made toward the committee's maximum employment and
The Garrett
price stability goals.
FTB. Oh, so you're still working out the Alphon. That's cool. Yeah. I have a family. I have a wife and 2 kids, but it's cool that you're still working at the Alphon. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, you're looking to be manager. That's cool.
That elevated inflation was not likely to go away without a strong monetary response. At our meeting in November 2021, we announced a phase out of our purchases. And at our next meeting in December, we doubled the pace of that taper. And
Bro,
said
AI
that
has
asset
fallen
purchases would
off.
conclude
Piece of credit.
by mid-March of 2022.
Not a
The
pardon
entire
yet.
period of purchases are
No
securities
pardon
holdings
yet.
increased by
PMT is
$4.6
sweating here. I think he got some
trillion.
shares of
So,
yes.
a number of observers have raised questions, fairly enough, about the size and composition of asset purchases during the pandemic recovery. Throughout 2020 and 21, the economy continued to face significant challenges as successive waves of COVID caused widespread disruption and loss. During that tumultuous period, we continued to purchase.
Look at this
in
YouTube
order
chat.
to
Is there a
avoid
way I could
sharp,
show?
unwelcome tightening of financial conditions at a time when the economy still appeared to be highly
I can't even show.
vulnerable.
The whole YouTube chat is just spamming buy, sell,
Our
buy,
thinking
sell.
was, pardon me, was informed by
BTC, ETH
recent
to the moon,
episodes in
buy,
which
sell,
signals
buy,
about
sell,
reducing
buy,
the balance
sell.
sheet had triggered
Creator code is just
significant
Loxy.
tightening
If you're gonna use
financial
Kalshi,
conditions, and we were thinking of the
if you
event
use my code, you trade $10, you get 40 on Kalshi, right? If you want to lock here, we're still holding on for a shutdown. Yes, for him to say shutdown.
housing market during
Taper?
the
Low
pandemic
taper?
recovery.
Quickly
Outside
a
of
low
purchases
taper
aimed
fade.
specifically at market functioning, MBS
Stay
purchases
still,
are
I'm almost
primarily
done.
intended, like our purchases of treasury
Okay.
securities, to
Don't
ease
clip it.
broader
Don't
financial
clip it.
conditions when the policy rate is constrained by the effective lower bound. The extent to which these MBS purchases disproportionately
Pin in the
affected
chat. That would be
housing
smart.
market conditions
Although I
during
don't care
that
enough.
period is challenging to determine.
I've got like 2 viewers and 2 of them are
Many
colleagues.
factors
So.
affect the mortgage market, and many factors beyond the mortgage market affect supply and demand in the broader housing market. With the clarity of hindsight, we could have, and perhaps should have, stopped asset purchases sooner. Our real-time decisions were intended to serve as insurance against downside risks.
Real.
We knew that we could unwind
My goat
purchases
Jerome.
relatively quickly.
My
once
goat
we ended
Jerome
them,
is always
which
so
is
calm.
exactly what we did.
Even when he has a bad
Research and
afternoon, he's
experience tell us
he's still just
that
so
asset
like
purchases affect the
so-
economy
so
through
cuddly.
expectations
He's so
regarding
cute.
the future size and duration
My goat
of our
Jerome pal
balance
is so
sheet.
cute.
So that when we announced our taper, market participants
Taper?
began pricing in its effects,
Okay.
pulling
I'm-
forward the tightening
I'm
of
brain
financial
rotted.
conditions. Stopping sooner could have made some difference, but not likely enough to fundamentally alter the trajectory of the economy. Nonetheless,
We need a
our
shutdown here. He
experience
still
since
dodged it.
2020 does suggest that we can be more nimble in our use of the balance sheet and more confident that our
Do we sell
communications will
off
foster
like a
appropriate
pussy?
expectations among market participants.
We could sell
given
off for
their
a
growing
profit here.
experience with these tools. Some have also argued that we could have better explained the purpose of asset purchases in real time. There's always room for improved communication, but I believe our statements were reasonably clear about our objectives, which were to
You
support
could sell off
and
for
sustain
79 cents.
smooth
That's
market
going to
functioning
be a
and to help foster
10%
accommodative
profit.
financial conditions.
What's gonna
Over
shut
time, the relative
down?
importance of those objectives evolve with economic conditions. but the
Jalen,
objectives
you
were never
serious?
in conflict. So at the time, this issue appeared to be a
What is shutting down? It's dead ass Arby's, bro. I don't know what the fuck is happening with Arby's, but they're going from 24/7 to 11 p.m. shutdown. And it's fucking ridiculous. The fact that I can't go outside in my underwear at 3 a.m. and get an Arby's burger. The fact that fucking Arby's is shutting down. The fact that Arby's has been shut down for 15 days. We're forecasted for a 35-day Arby's shutdown. Is ridiculous, bro. We can't even get our chefs to agree on what our roast beef is gonna be. How the fuck are we supposed to be eating burgers as a country, dude? It's ridiculous.
supporting a resilient payment system. In this framework, an ample supply of reserves ensures adequate liquidity in the banking system, and control of our policy rate is achieved through the setting of our administered rates, interest on reserve balances, and the overnight repurchase rate. Reverse repo rate, rather. This approach allows us to maintain.
It's only
rate
gotten
control
up though.
independently
As
of
the
size of
speech
our
has gone
balance
on,
sheet.
it's only going up.
And that's important given large
It was trading like
unpredictable swings in
75
liquidity
pre-market.
demand from the private sector and significant fluctuations in the autonomous factors affecting.
He's
reserve
got to mention
supply,
the
such
he's got to
as
mention the
PGA.
shutdown. It's like a
This
it's a
framework has
non-factor.
proved
Like
resilient whether the balance sheet is shrinking or growing. Since June 2022, we've reduced the size of our balance sheet by $2.2 trillion from
My goat
35%
Powell,
to
dude.
just
He's
under
just so
22% of
cuddly.
GDP while maintaining effective interest rate. Our long-stated plan is to stop balance sheet runoff when reserves are somewhat above the level we judge consistent with ample reserves conditions. We may approach that point in coming months, and we are closely monitoring a wide range of indicators to inform this decision. Some signs have begun to emerge that liquidity conditions are gradually tightening, including a general firming of repo rates, along with more noticeable but temporary pressures on selected dates. The committee's plans lay out a deliberately cautious approach to avoid
These
the kind of
84
money market strains
set limit
experienced in
orders
September 2019.
are a bit
Moreover, the tools of our
are making me
implementation
fiend a little
framework,
bit, if that makes
including the
sense, but
standard repo facility and a discount
I'm still
window,
holding out on my
will help
shutdown.
contain
We're still
funding
holding out for
pressures
Powell.
and keep the federal funds rate
to
within
keep us
our
alive.
target range through this transition to lower reserve levels. Normalizing the size of our balance sheet does not mean going back to the balance sheet we
Yeah,
had
up on
before the
Twitch. Twitch is
pandemic.
probably better, bro.
In the longer run, the size of our balance sheet is determined by the public's demand for our liabilities rather than by our pandemic-related asset purchases. Non-reserve liabilities currently stand about $1.1 trillion higher than just prior to the pandemic, thus requiring that our securities holdings be equally higher. Demand for reserves has risen as well, in part reflecting the growth of the banking system and the overall economy. Regarding the composition of our securities portfolio, relative to the outstanding universe of Treasury securities, our portfolio
Still
is
no
currently
shutdown. It's surprising. It's only going
longer-term
up.
securities and
Only
underweight
going up.
shorter-term securities. The longer-run composition will be a
Look at
topic of
this.
committee
87,
discussion.
88. Someone knows
Transition to our
something, huh?
desired composition will occur gradually and predictably, giving market participants time to adjust and
87
minimizing
cent
the risk of market disruption.
Bids. 90-cent bids
Consistent
on
with our
shutdown.
longstanding guidance, we aim for a portfolio consisting primarily of Treasury securities over the longer run. Some have questioned whether the interest we pay on reserves is costly.
No pardon!
That is not
No
the case.
pardon me!
That earns interest income from Treasury
He
securities.
coughed a no pardon me.
Our
Wow!
interest earnings from Treasury holdings more than cover
Let's
the interest paid
go,
on reserves,
Jerome!
generating significant remittances
Dude.
to the Treasury. By
No
law, we
pardon me
remit
on his
all
cough
profits to the
right
Treasury
there.
After covering expenses.
Oh, I
Since
feel bad. I
2008,
feel
even
bad
after
for the yes
accounting for a
partners.
period of negative net income, our total
Oh, look at that. It's gone to no
$99
99 cents.
While our net interest income has
Has
temporarily
he said
been
it?
negative due to the rapid rise in policy rates to
He said
control
pardon?
inflation,
Wow.
this is highly unusual. Our net income will soon turn positive
I thought he just
again,
dodged it. Has he
as
said pardon
typically has
yet?
been throughout our history. Of course,
I
having
missed that
negative
one.
net income
Wow.
has no bearing at all on our ability to conduct monetary policy or meet our financial obligations. If our ability to pay interest on reserves
Look,
and other
he coughed
liabilities
again.
were
He didn't say
eliminated,
pardon me. Wow,
the Fed would
he's
lose
really
control
sick,
over
huh?
rates. The stance of monetary policy would no longer be appropriately calibrated.
He's
to
really
economic
sick.
Conditions and would push the economy away from our employment and price stability goals. To restore rate control, large sales of securities over a short period of time would be needed to shrink our balance sheet and the quantity of reserves in the system. The volume and speed of these sales could strain Treasury market functioning and compromise financial stability. Market participants would need to absorb the sales of Treasury securities and agency MBS, which would put upward pressure on the entire yield curve, raising borrowing costs for the Treasury and private sector.
Wow,
Even
no
after that
no shutdown yet. It's
volatile
a
and
little
disruptive process,
worrying.
the banking system would be less resilient and more vulnerable to liquidity shocks. The bottom line is that our ample reserves regime has proven remarkably effective for implementing monetary policy and supporting economic and financial stability. So I will close with a brief discussion of the economy and the outlook for monetary policy. Although some important government data have been delayed due to the shutdown, we have
Yes!
a variety of public and private sector data that have remained available.
Shutdown,
We also maintain a
baby!
nationwide network of contacts.
It was too big to rig.
who provide
Too big to
valuable
rig. You
insights
couldn't get
that
away
can
with
be
not
summarized
mentioning
in
it.
tomorrow.
Of course we bet on this. Of course we bet on this, Ashley. We've got yes on shutdown. No on a good afternoon. I mean, I guess he could still say good afternoon at the end,
Available
huh?
prior to the shutdown, however, show that growth in economic activity may be on a somewhat firmer trajectory than expected.
Huge dub. Huge dub, Jerome, you cutie bear, dude. I gotta go cuddle with my Jerome Powell body pillow after this.
Likely in part due to a decline in labor force growth due to lower immigration and lower labor force participation. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer
I can't believe,
labor
I guess,
market,
bro,
the
he's been
downside-
coughing this entire time. Have you heard how many times he's been, like, clearing his throat? And he still hasn't said pardon me every time. Yet he said pardon, I guess? I wonder what in context. It had to be pardon me. I missed it, but...
availability and firms' perceptions of hiring difficulty continue their downward trajectories. Meanwhile, 12-month core PCE inflation was 2.9% in August, up slightly from earlier this year, as rising core goods inflation has outpaced continued disinflation in housing services. Available data and surveys continue to show that goods price increases primarily reflect tariffs rather than broader inflationary pressures.
Tariff.
Consistent with these effects, near-term inflation expectations have generally increased this year, while most longer-term expectation measures remain aligned with our 2% goal. Rising downside risks to employment have shifted our assessment of the balance of risks. As a result,
I guess we could still get a good afternoon at the end, but this is a huge dub on this market.
There is no risk-free path for
We're
policy
seeing
as
this.
we navigate the
Look
tension
at this
between
green
our
number.
employment and inflation goals. This challenge was evident in the dispersion of committee participants' projections at the September meeting. And I'll stress again that these projections should be understood as representing a range of potential outcomes whose
No stock
probabilities
market yet
evolve
is
as
interesting.
new information informs our meeting-by-meeting approach to policymaking. We'll set policy based on the evolution of the economic outlook and the balance of risks rather than following a predetermined path. And with that, thank you again for this wonderful award and for inviting me here today. I look forward to our discussion. Thank you.
Ooh, there's a discussion? Is that the end of the speech? I don't know. I did buy these strikes. They are a bit low. Thinking for the fact that the stock market itself is at 74 cents, 77 cents here is not too bad.
Chair Powell, for the excellent remarks in the Adam Smith address, and we will have about half an hour for questions.
That was
So
like a long
should have
time.
talked longer.
We'll sell these at 93. I mean, I'm not trying to
So let
be
me
weird.
start with, before I go to some of the questions coming in from the audience, and do use the Connect app to generate those. You have said, and you repeated again here, that there are no risk-free paths for the Fed now. So in light of that,
92.
and in particular,
Someone did it.
with where the recent inflation
Flipped
data
it-
are
flipped the
running, let me-
$1.50
let
right
me
there.
Group this with
That's
some of
how
the
you do it,
questions
boys.
that we're seeing coming in on the app as well. Obviously, always data dependent. But thinking about the dual mandate of maximum employment and price stability, how concerned
There's
are
still
you
people
that
willing to
the-
buy it for
if
4.32
the
cents,
rate
so
of
we're not out the
pass-through
woods
tariffs
yet
is
on the good
slower,
afternoon, but
that might begin to
Jerome
look
Powell
like more persistent inflation,
has set us up well.
as opposed to a one-time, as if the tariff adjustment came through all at once, and then it would be quite clearly a one-time price level shift.
So that's certainly a risk. You know, as I mentioned, there really isn't a risk-free path now since it appears that inflation is certainly running above our target and appears to be continuing to increase quite gradually, but increase. It's still on the way up. So there's a risk there that would lend to greater persistence. But now the labor market has demonstrated pretty significant downside risks as
Huge
payroll
dub,
jobs have
boys.
declined, and both the supply and demand for labor has declined quite sharply. So those two.
I think we can play
those
some
two,
celebratory
states
music
of
a
affairs
little bit
for
while watching the
two
rest of this.
variables,
We've
or
got
two
Trump
variables
next.
call for different
I'm just
monetary
gonna stay
policy
live for the
responses.
Trump throughout the Trump
As
arguments.
they come more into balance, I think the idea has been that policy should move from being, tight to some degree to being more neutral as those two things balance out. But it is clear, though, that, if we move too quickly, then we may leave the inflation job unfinished and have to come back later and finish it. And if we move too slowly, there may be unnecessary losses, painful losses in the employment market. So we're in the difficult situation of balancing those two things. I think for the last few months, we've been able to maintain a restrictive stance because the labor market was still pretty solid. I think that the data we got right after the July meeting showed that which adjusted back all the way.
Which of
to
these
May,
long shots are hitting,
showed
guys?
that the labor market
On
has
this
actually
Q&A.
softened pretty considerably, and
Is
puts
it
us in a
AI?
situation where the two risks are closer to being in balance.
Let's move to the other risk then and talk about employment a little bit. We had Anna Paulson here yesterday, and she spoke about the break-even unemployment, or break-even employment growth rate, and that's a question from the audience as well. So I believe she said that it's certainly lower than it was, and the standard error around those estimates probably includes some numbers that might even be negative. Where do you see the monthly break-even employment growth rate at this point?
I'm not going to try to give you a pinpoint number, but as you pointed out, the standard error around these things is 50,000 plus or minus, something like that. And that would certainly, I think the range of plausible numbers for the break-even rate is probably does go below zero, accounting for those standard errors. It's clearly come down a great deal. And that's what's
Which of these are hitting in
so
this
challenging
Q&A,
about
man?
this is that both supply and
It's
demand
someone.
in
It's
the
something.
labor market
It's one
have
of
come
these.
down so sharply, so quickly, and the fact that the unemployment rate has barely moved is kind of remarkable in and of itself, and suggests that they're moving at roughly the same pace. Although, of course, the unemployment rate has ticked up, which suggests that demand is moving a little faster.
Uncertainty
than
really
supply.
wasn't said that
I
many
wouldn't want
times.
to point to a
5
a
plus
specific
times
number
on
other than to
uncertainty?
say that it's come way down. And there are many estimates out there. By the way, there are many ways to calculate it, so you're going to get different estimates.
We're certainly in a volatile and changing environment. So
I guess they don't have
one question
transcript,
I have
huh?
is whether you
But-
see any changes in the transmission mechanism of monetary
Always with
policy
these counting
actions. So when we
strikes is
speak of
sometimes
long
they
and
mess
variable
up.
lags,
You
as we
can
do,
can catch some
are
mistakes.
those
I mean,
changing?
this
And in
is
particular, do you
this is
think
showing
there
an
might be
obvious
any
trend,
difference in the impacts of policy
he could
and
just
inflation
he could just
versus
rip it in the
employment?
Q&A. You know what I'm saying?
Is one changing more than the other?
Especially
Two
to
or
like
three
this
questions, so
time
I'm gonna
of
come back to you.
uncertainty.
That's right. So
The shutdown,
on transmission,
where we're at right now.
there, in theory at least, I see two things. One is, what we say and the actions that we take on monetary policy and how quickly that gets into financial markets. So if you go back to when I was in college, that part would have taken, weeks, months probably. And now that part happens essentially instantaneously. But the rest of it, once it's in the financial markets, how quickly does it affect economic activity, unemployment, employment, inflation, et cetera? I think that's more dependent on the conditions in the economy. For example, if you take the group of people who had extremely low rate mortgages, right? And even so, if you can cut rates, but they're a long way down, and they're sort of in a place where it's going to be expensive to move and to take out a much higher rate mortgage, even assuming significant numbers of cuts. So that has probably blunted the transmission of lower rates into that part of the economy. But overall, I think it still works the way we think it works, which is, long and variable lags means a lot of uncertainty about how it's being affected.
Uncertainty, one.
The last part of your question. The lore has been that inflation
We see it,
and
boom.
employment
13 cents,
come
jump up.
later. The first decisions are purchasing decisions, hiring decisions, and things. Well, purchasing decisions, can be affected probably more quickly, but then those would eventually affect employment and inflation. So longer lags are when the research generally shows longer and longer lags for employment and inflation.
And I guess the variable part of that.
How many uncertainties is that?
A bit of cover.
A lot of uncertainty.
So,
Whoa,
you
a
spoke
second
about,
uncertainty.
The
How many is that?
adjustments or the challenges that you're facing with some government data not currently being published. Beyond the headline unemployment rate, which we're not going to see right away, what other labor market indicators are you monitoring most closely to gauge that side of the mandate?
So I think everyone's looking at the same non-government data. So there's a set of non-government data around, or non-federal government data around labor markets. For example, state level unemployment, claim reports. You can add those up and get a pretty decent estimate, and that's a really good one. There's also ADP has its data and employment. So in the employment space, there's some plausible data. I will say generally the private data, the alternative data that we look at is
Look
better
at this
used
jump
as
on
a supplement
uncertainty.
for the
77, man. I wish I
underlying
snapped it up at
governmental data,
13
which is the
cents.
gold standard.
I saw those
And
13
it's not
cents
as-
ones.
It won't be as effective as the main course as it would have been as a supplement. So we don't expect that we'd be able to replace the data.
Look at
we're
that.
not
Oh,
getting.
6 cents even.
So I think in
Yeah,
job,
someone
you know, in
someone
employment
jumped.
space, there's some pretty good substitutes. Less so in inflation space.
It's not that many
and-
shares
and
though.
in,
Look at that liquidity.
Economic
That's perfect
activity
right there.
space.
That's what you
And
want to
also, they're
see.
just, you know, there are different private data providers use different universes and different levels of rigor in their data analysis. So, you know, we're looking at lots of things, and we'll.
What's up, Finn?
We're going to make our
Finn Dyke?
decisions according to the FOMC schedule.
Are you Van Dyke's
But I
brother?
think, it will be a lot better once we start getting, for example, the September
Page
employment
book
report is
hit!
gonna be very important.
Wow, I saw someone shout that out
And
before.
we're
Page
not on
book
track to
hit.
have that.
Wow.
There would still be time for us to get that. We will get, of course, the September
what's good at
inflation,
Visa?
CPI, and PPI reports. So
I took a pill and a
that's a
visa.
positive. But we're
Show Avicii, I was
we don't
cool.
comment on fiscal matters, but
To
from our
show Jerome
standpoint,
Powell, I was cool.
we'll start to miss that data, and particularly the October data.
I took a dot plot in DC. That's stupid.
Standard, and you didn't mean it in this context, but I'm going to pivot
Took
here
a page
because
book in DC.
there's a question from the audience that's getting a lot of upvotes. So one of your predecessors, Alan Greenspan, used to view the price of gold as an indicator of inflation
Gold
risk.
question.
So in that context, how do you view the
Gold
rally
question?
that we've seen in gold? And if you want to throw in Bitcoin, you can comment on that too.
Wow.
I'm not going to comment on any particular asset price,
Ooh.
including that one. And
That one?
I think we think of inflation as driven by,
Do I buy these
fundamental
15s?
supply and demand.
Am I stupid? Am I stupid?
factors.
He dodged it.
And it's not something we look at, actively.
Fuck it.
The September projections.
We bought the
we saw
14s.
revised.
We're going
GDP
in.
growth
He dodged
projections
it.
Revised upward for both 2025 and
He said asset
2026.
prices. I don't know. That could
Now,
be
sometimes
stupid though. It's
just an
14 bucks to make
issue
100.
thing, but how do you reconcile that?
That could have been
projection of
stupid
stronger
though. We'll
growth
see.
With what we're seeing in terms of a likely weakening.
Linguistically, he said assets, not gold.
So even subsequent to the September SEP, we've seen economic activity data which are surprising to the upside. And as I mentioned in my remarks, so you do have a bit of a tension there between the labor market data that we see, very low levels of job creation, and yet people are spending. So economic activity.
We're
is strong,
seeing
and
that
it's,
pay
we'll have
off.
to see how that
Someone's
plays
trying to
out.
buy 17 cents ones for
Right
1,000.
now,
So
of
that
course,
makes
we're
me
not
feel
getting
better
any
about myself there.
New government data on that, any new federal government data on that, but it does create. Of course, if economic activity were stronger, then that would tend to support labor market activities and hiring, so we'll have to see how that works out.
Unless he said it.
Another
I think
topic
if he
that
did say it, would have been
permeated
mogged though.
The conference over the last 2
We're
days.
just going
has
with a
been
no
AI.
gold here.
So
We're gonna hold out.
as the Federal Reserve, like all of us, grapple with the implications of generative AI, plans are
AI?
in place to assess its long-term impact on productivity.
Oh, he
implications
said
for
it.
Labor markets and overall economic stability.
said AI.
And does that present any new risks to monetary policy or financial stability?
So you're right. We're doing what other people are doing, which is
did he?
reading all the things that so many researchers are working on AI now. It's just amazing.
Oh, AI, yep.
So we follow all of that. We also have people at the Fed who are doing lots and lots of research on AI, and
There you go. That was a
in terms
bit
of-
late.
It's just such early
Whoever
days,
bought those 99s
to
took them a
be
while.
looking for the kind of things that will happen. So the question of productivity. It was Robert Solow who said that technology is showing up everywhere, but in the productivity data. So this could be the same kind of thing where it's there, but it takes a long time kind of to show itself, because you would think of
We could
another
flip this
big
gold.
technological advances potentially
But
raising productivity, but
we're gonna
I think
hold.
it's early to say that we're seeing it. Also, you're seeing.
He
I
said
think
he's not gonna talk about that asset class.
Researchers
We're
have
gonna
found
hold it
effects
for a
on
little bit.
hiring from AI for entry-level people and for coders and things like that. So there's probably some of that out there, but it's just so early to say what it will be. We also monitor very carefully what public companies are saying. Increasingly, bold statements from mainly large private companies on things that they think they can do across their whole business area with AI, and either
Dang, he's
sort of
spamming AI.
freeze hiring,
He's
where
rubbing
is,
it
or
in.
reduce hiring, and I think we're pretty aware of what the potential outcomes are, but the range of potential outcomes is very broad. I will say, in terms of what the Fed can do, we deal with supply and demand. We have interest rate, and we also do regulation, that kind of thing. But if what's needed is greater education and skills, I mean, I've always
can I
liked the
sell my
model that
shares? Hello?
technology can work for everybody as long as everybody's getting the skills and
Okay,
aptitudes they
I
need
traded off the
to
gold.
use that
I
technology.
got
This is
told he
Goldman
said it's
Sachs,
gold.
their work, which they
He
actually
said gold
spoke about
standard.
at Jackson Hole this year, but it's a 20-year-old book that they wrote. We can't do that. That's not something the Fed can do.
I've seen
We
the
also can't-
Discord.
we
He
can't
didn't
address
say
the
gold.
potential societal disruptions
Whatever.
that could
I
happen.
made.
Potentially, if there's really significant
Did
job
he say
loss.
gold? Where?
So there are a lot of, we're the least of it. There are
why
potentially
would AI not count?
really
That's
significant implications for people in the labor force. And I think we're all speculating about what those might be, but it's only the beginning of this story.
Yeah. Looking at some of the other questions that are getting upvoted, and you can get as far into the weeds as you want, but this is where people want to go. So let me try this one. As you think of the appropriate level of reserves in the system, what indicators are most important? Is it the price of money, so repo levels, or the volume of borrowings from the Fed, like the discount window, and so on?
So we have a nice spider chart and a 5 main indicators.
So the argument here
one of
is
which
whether
is,
this Q&A
sort of
should count.
repo levels.
Because technically, right,
And I
the
think
speech,
overall, what they're showing is that we're still at
the
ample
market
reserves.
is part of the speech.
Abundant reserves.
I
We're
say it
still
should
at
count.
abundant
He's speaking
reserves,
right
meaning
now.
above our goal.
And it was like a Q&A.
Ample reserves, a little bit above
This
ample
isn't a
reserves.
speech.
So, but we're beginning to see.
What do you think,
we're
chat? You
starting
think
to
the
see,
Q&A part should count?
a little bit of
I'm saying it should.
tightening in money market
He's
conditions.
speaking.
Particularly repo rates have moved up. And those are the
Rules
things we're
are
gonna be watching.
rules. It
So
is
we
true
think we're
that
still
rules
at
are
abundant,
rules, so.
and we're the pace of
It's gonna
runoff
count
is
and
now
should
very,
count.
very slow. So we're going to be watching all those factors.
If it
very
does,
carefully.
this
And
gold
we're
no
not-
is
we're not
is,
so
is
far
priced
away,
well,
but,
right?
There's a ways
If
to
it
go.
doesn't count, because he said
I think we're not going to get away without addressing this one, so I'll try to, again, group some of these together. First, there's definitely appreciation from the audience in your ability to try to remain above the political fray.
Ooh, Trump.
And I think also, and as in your remarks, you said gradually and predictably, and that sounds really nice.
so. AI was
about
said,
now,
but only
but,
during the Q&A. So this
With
no
that ongoing scrutiny of the
would be
policy
a hedge,
decisions of the
basically,
Fed,
against
what
people
measures
betting yes
is the Federal Reserve
on
taking,
things that
and
hit
are
the
you
Q&A?
taking to ensure and demonstrate the
So many
continued
questions in a
independence in
speech.
setting monetary policy?
So the main thing we can continue to do is to do our work the way we've always done it, which is, think really
Address-
carefully about evolving economic conditions and the evolving outlook and the balance of risks,
shit.
and try to make good decisions
Let's
to best serve the American public, and then explain those decisions and talk about them in a way that makes sense and is grounded in the data and our overall approach. I think we're going to keep doing that, and as long as we're doing that, people will be able to tell. If we start doing something else,
Let's
I
see
think
what
people will be
Ideas
able to
has
tell
to
that
say
too.
about
But
this.
that's just not something we're ever going to do. We're always going to keep doing our work. We don't engage in back and forth with people. It's just not that gets to be political sort of right away. So we just do our work and do it as best we can. I mean, overall, I would say the Fed comes through the last, if you think about it, go back to the beginning of the global
Hey, they
financial
updated my
crisis.
profile
We've
picture.
had
That's cool.
2 world historical crises back to back, essentially. And the U.S. economy, it's been quite a ride for the U.S. economy and for American citizens, but we've come through it as well or better than any other country in the world. And we had to innovate, and did innovate. There was really no choice.
Other ones they directly
We can
said
look back
Q&A,
now
right?
And as I did today, and second guess ourselves.
We're gonna see.
Which is only appropriate. That we've been doing it for 10 years. Since I got to the Fed 12 years ago, we were already doing a lot of that. So
You
that's
fell
not
off
a
bad,
new
but
process.
I'm up 250
But
just
I think
this morning.
If you take a step back, the Fed
You make
is
250
a
after 10
government
hours.
agency that does a good job for the public that it serves, and that is our only goal. And I think we do it.
A
pretty
reference
well.
here.
Don't
We
look for
have a
perfection.
reference here.
You know, these are close calls that have to be made in real time.
So this is the
but I guess
FOMC
that's what I would
market,
say.
right?
It's fantastic. And in that context, then,
The FOC market, we have, if the chair of the Federal Reserve says recession at the October 2025 post-FOMC meeting, introductory remarks, and Q&A. So that could resolve for the fact it is like a reference, right? That's a different meeting. But the fact that they specifically put Q&A, it specifically puts Q&A there in the meeting. Meaning maybe AI doesn't count for here. Someone's willing to buy 6,000 shares of 6 cents, right? That'd be $360 to win 6K. That'd be fucking insane. They got filled on those 6,000. AI at 93, man. He did say gold, but do we buy the nose? What do y'all think, man? Do we buy the
when I
nose
was
here
an
and say
investor,
that the
I always felt like the
that the
most dangerous
speech
thing is if everybody
is
agreed
just
on
the speech,
something,
the Q&A
'cause
does not count.
You need someone to come in and try to explain why this is a terrible idea. Hopefully somebody really smart. And that would give you the ability to really test your
Are
thinking.
based on the address
So I
and
think
not the
that's a
Q&A.
healthy discussion that we're having right now.
I think it's I think
and
it's
I'm not at
worth
all
a
surprised
shot.
that we
If
have
it gets really
people
low,
across the board.
if
I do
something
think
gets
we
like
also
1
as an
cent, 2 cent,
institution
3
do
cent,
try
4
to come
cent.
together around you know a central answer, and that's of course part of what I try to do.
People are trading though as if
you know
it does include the
find an
Q&A.
answer that will attract as much support as possible.
absolutely. I know you probably won't want to comment in great detail on global conditions, but there are a few questions around that and what that implies for U.S. monetary policy, and also just looking at the interest rate differentials between the U.S. and other advanced economies, and how long that could persist, and is there a risk there?
They're saying you fell off, brother. I made
The interest
$300
rate
on this market.
differentials between the U.S. and other advanced economies.
Yeah,
I made $300 on this shit.
You know, we set interest rates according to, you know, the place where our economy is domestically, you know, taking into account the international aspects of our economy. So again, it's not surprising.
Someone bonding AI.
You can name many factors,
Someone
but you know,
did
for
to
example,
99.
tariffs are clearly more disinflationary for countries that are subjected to
Someone
them.
did
and
a
they're more,
97,
I wouldn't say
99. Yeah,
heavily
someone bonded
inflationary,
it
but
right here.
There's some inflationary pass-through
Wow.
to
And
consumers.
some people were buying the
from
1 cents.
countries that are putting tariffs on. So there's a very different monetary policy response potentially just in that. So, you know, I think we need to set, as every other central bank does, they're setting rates.
Yeah, there should have
in
been
their-
specifically the
whatever their,
Q&A
you know,
in the
remit
rules
is
section
geographically.
here.
And they're going to be
Listed
different
or not.
answers.
You know what I'm saying? Like a
it's not
specific
unusual.
note that the Q&A does work or doesn't work.
So
Doesn't
we have
count.
a large number of
Doesn't
young
resolve.
economists in the audience today.
Because this is betting
Could
on
you
a
talk a
on a
little bit
cup.
about, as we look back and
Gold is the same.
momentous
No.
awards, a nice
So
time to
these
reflect.
AI and gold
If
should
you
both
looked
track.
back on your early career and your early
If
goals,
AI is a no, then gold's a no. Yeah.
how do you think that young Jerome Powell would view where Jerome Powell is sitting today as chair of the Federal Reserve?
Surprised. No, I would say, so what I would tell young economists is you've chosen a great profession, a tremendous profession. You know, you're getting the tools to analyze public policy and what works and what doesn't work and what should be expected to work and wouldn't and why. And also what's the state of the economy. And guess what? it's not just hard,
It
it's basically
counts?
impossible. But
I'm not sure if it counts
it's
or
a
not.
very, very difficult thing, but it yields itself up over time. And, you know, it's just an incredibly important subject that carries the capability to do really good things for the general
AI
public.
down to
may not
85.
feel
Are we
great
saying there's a
gratitude toward
15%
economists,
chance that
but
this doesn't count? This Q&A doesn't count?
Sometimes, but no, it's a really important. You made a great
It's
choice.
just dumb people
and,
buying down
would
now, I
say
think.
wish
Like
you the
Big
best of
Daddy
luck.
Mike.
Thank you.
Big Daddy, what does Big Daddy
Okay,
Mike
we'll do a
know?
little bit of a lightning round here. We have about 5 minutes left, so I'll ask
5 minutes
a
left.
bunch of questions that you may not.
Other people are on AI.
want
Might
get
be
into
able to
great detail on.
buy
It
maybe
might
some
have
of this
that flash. Yeah.
tariff inflation or something.
Some of these are pretty straightforward, but
Is it the same with
so
restrictive,
we
or
talked
you
quite
said
a bit
restrictive too?
about labor markets, but we have not specifically asked the question about the effect of immigration policies on labor supply. How restrictive do you think that current policy is, and is that something that will just
Current immigration policy.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me start by saying that we don't have a view on immigration. It's not our job to have a view. So we take that as completely, it is what it is. We take it as it arrives. More, I'd say, stronger policy than most people had expected. You know, we've seen a very sharp decline in growth of the labor force and in people entering the country, and yeah, I think you're only beginning to see the strength of that policy too. There's more expulsions; those are rising, and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a big economic factor. So that will mean fewer people to work. You have anecdotal evidence of industries that are just having a hard time finding people. You don't see it in wages or anything like that at this point. You don't see, at least in the aggregate, you don't. But yeah, it's going to be a really important economic fact because that's new people who come into the workforce. They create their supply, but they also create demand. They create their own demand, and again, from our standpoint, we're just our job is to achieve maximum employment or maximum sustainable employment. And that will depend both on the supply of workers and the demand for workers.
Back to the balance sheet, some questions. Again, I'll kind of try to group these together around mortgage-backed securities and housing affordability. Again, not directly part of the dual mandate, but would the Fed ever look at any specific actions with regard to MBS to address mortgage rates or affordability for housing?
The answer is, look, we look at overall inflation and we don't target housing prices. And also I don't know how you would, we would certainly not engage in mortgage-backed security purchases as a way of addressing mortgage rates or housing directly. That's
I
not
think
what
this
we do.
Q&A should
we
count.
do have, as I mentioned,
I think
a
this
very
should
large
count.
amount of mortgage-backed
Right?
securities, and they're
Not to
running
be a
off,
party
but
pooper.
they run off pretty slowly.
This Q&A should
so-
definitely count, though. I think if we're talking about precedent of other stuff, it
Question on the
counted
beverage
before.
curve. Maybe that's not a lightning round question, but let's try it. So do you think that the shift in the beverage curve is a structural shift or just a blip?
I think it's, you're at a place where, further declines in job openings might very well start to show up in unemployment. You've had this amazing time where you came straight down, and but I just think you're going to reach a point at which unemployment starts to go up. And
You reach a
we haven't
point.
really, we may be hitting that now, but it's been remarkable how that line it just comes down, and which has been really a great part of the recovery.
All right.
That's it,
well,
no?
we have just a couple minutes left. I think we'll end with maybe another sort of philosophical question.
Is it over?
Michael Barr spoke to the policy conference in 2024.
Are we
going
gonna
to
get a median
he
here
gave some
at the
advice
end?
to economists.
It's the lowest priced
What would your
strike that
advice
hasn't
be
been
to
said
the
yet.
economists in the room in terms of how we can best serve the challenges that are facing us collectively in this moment?
I'm inclined to say keep your heads up. You know, it's a time when people are challenging expertise.
And Cerny.
And,
Might
you know, I think it's a
might take a
distinguished
comeback here.
profession. It's a very high order profession, and you should be proud of your work and keep at it. You know, I mean, ultimately, we're learning about how the economy works and how society works. Our understanding is so basic and so uncertain, really, still after all these years. But, you know, you got to think we're making some progress and doing some good, and imposing, sort of an analytical framework around the kind of decisions people make about the economy. So I just want to give you a vote of support and say keep at it.
And likewise, NABE supports you.
We're seeing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right. No good afternoon. There could have been a rules cut there at the very end. You know what I'm saying? Jerome Powell could have hit us with a good afternoon at the very end, but we've done well. We've done well. We got our gold position at the end. Our goal, the live trades we did, but specifically on that Jerome Powell market, we lost. We got 650. We lost 250 or something, minus the cost. We've won 200. Oh, what the hell? I think that's YouTube autoplay. Yeah, that's a YouTube autoplay. I'm like, what the hell? Why is it Trump 2016 playing? 250 bucks on this Jerome Powell market. Let's go. He did, in fact, talk about the shutdown. He said it multiple times. He hit us with a pardon. I don't know if that was pardon me or pardon specifically. We don't have the transcript. I don't think the transcript's... Yeah, it's not going to be there that fast, but... He was coughing a bunch of times, so it could have been pardon me, but... And... Jerome Powell did not have a good afternoon. He came in just saying thank you. He didn't hit us with the FOMC good afternoon. Jerome Powell, you fucking legend. You cuddly bear, you cute little man. Had a terrible afternoon. His wife didn't give him brain today. So we've made 250 bucks straight just on our good afternoon. 50 bucks on our shutdown. That's about, almost 300 bucks just on this Powell market. Let's go, baby. So we've got Trump, Bilat, and we've got the Trump Bilat, and we've got him also speaking at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. I will probably just stay on and cover both. I didn't bet anything on this Bilat because it was closed press, so I didn't know. It was like the fact that a bunch of these strikes, okay, they're priced as if it's open press. It's like a bunch of them were priced like 90 no. I was like, oh, is it just closed press and people know? We're gonna check the Discord. Here he is meeting. We've got him meeting. I'll update some other stuff like stream title. We got a Donald Trump picture in the downloads somewhere in here. Where's my Donnie? There he is. Okay, Fox 4 Dallas. They've got bangers. This is not Fox 4 Dallas. It's my other thing. I got you there. We're updating the stream titles. Titles on X can't get changed? That's interesting. While live, you can't change your title of your stream? That is so weird. Your stream. Oh, you can. Alright, there you go, I'm doing it. Alright, change it on X. You gotta do it manually, I see. But yeah, I guess this bilat is happening. So we can do a little bit of studying on this bilat. I thought it was gonna be close press, so I didn't bet on anything, but we could bet on nose and hope it's gonna be a close press. No one even answered the bilat question I got. People are saying this Jerome Powell market shouldn't count. It should obviously count, I think. I think that Q&A should obviously count, but this is gonna be an argument. Look at these. It's like smart to go against ideas. If ideas are saying that the Q&A should count, then it probably doesn't. We still see it trading at 90%. If we look at AI though, say AI. We've got $100,000 total on the people trying to buy yes, and 33,000 on the no side, including 100,000 1-cent shares. But some people really want to fade these no's. Someone's getting 7 cents, 6 cents at 2,000 for this AI. Low effort FUD is low quality FUD, dollar store FUD. Yeah, I think this is low key, just a low quality FUD. Full speech. They're saying this is the speech that should count and not the Q&A. Still have no idea what planet a Q&A should count for the speech. He said gold standard during the speech, man. You can get it 10 times here, but this is just this is the betting on a rules cuck, man. What's the point? What's your bet? For specifically this Jerome Powell market, we had yes on shutdown and no on good afternoon, and a little bit on good no pardon. But or no good afternoon. He didn't in fact not say it. And he did say shutdown. So we made $250 from this Powell market. We're trying to determine if this Q&A that he had afterwards counts. Because specifically, right, the market says speech Does his Q&A count for his speech? Yes or no? I say it probably shouldn't. I'm saying probably should, right? But the fact that there's precedent before of them putting Q&A, FOMC speech and Q&A, I don't know. Right? I would like to go with the alpha of the Discord and say this is a FUD. I do wonder where this source came from, though. This speech source. FederalReserve.gov. If we can, like, copy this link. Get to the address. He never said anything about pardons. Okay. He definitely said pardon me, brother. Like, not in the official speech transcript, though. I wonder how this gets resolved. Is the Federal Reserve itself one of the source agencies in this market? AP, right? No pardon in this official transcript either from the Fed, but like no gold, no AI. If you're gonna count this transcript specifically. Wall Street Journal is an official source agency, but post-meeting press conference, September. Wow, they don't post anything, do they? Just for the FOMC. Wonder if I could set it to like today. Yeah, only today. See, that's the official transcript for the speech. And not... They removed the market? What? People saying they removed the market? Oh, they're just determining it. So it counts. It's determined. Wow. Wow, straight resolved. So the Q&A did count. Look at that. We've got your pardon yes. We've got your good afternoon no. Uncertainty was said 5 times if the Q&A counts, I believe. Yeah. So I guess he's... Wow, man. If I got those 6-cent shares that I saw before, fuck. That would have been such a good flip. Oh, am I real? Oh, yeah. God damn it, Foster. You gotta make me look ridiculous. Wait, I just refreshed it, though. All I did was hit refresh. Did they just, like, disbark the market? What's going on here? Did they just delete the market? Yo, none of my positions had rules cucks. So, all I'm saying is, I don't think the dollar amount in my portfolio specifically went down, right? But all I hear was, yeah, you're right. That is a previous market, Foster. Did they just straight deleted it then? Wow. I'm so sorry, Jake. He's probably getting screamed at right now for not including Q&A in the fucking description. Wow. I mean, you fool me once, shame on you. You know? But before trading closed. I'm seeing your thing in the Discord. Foster says also worth noting the last speech that included Q&A had the rules variable as address Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce 2025 Economic Outlook Luncheon on September 23rd, not saying speech at Luncheon. Dude, it's just so unprecedented. Like, this is, I don't know, specific, like, if you look at the old testimony of Rules Cucks, you can find just an example where they put speech and there was a Q&A and whether it counted or not, but it is weird how in the FOMC meeting they did specifically put Q&A as if like they need a specific wording to count for it. Now this is stupid, right? Because obviously they weren't meaning for this rules cut to happen. Like they fucking destroyed the market. They completely wiped it out of existence. So this is weird though. This is still showing in my history like I guess because I cashed out, right? Because I sold these. Yeah, this is an old market. I was like, wow, I guess uncertainty resolved. I didn't catch that one. But it's just weird how they had to point out there was a Q&A before. This is just quite unprecedented though. It's obviously like not what they meant to happen. I think they obviously meant for the Q&A to count and just thought speech encapsulated everything. But someone, you know how like in venture markets you gotta think one step ahead. You gotta think, okay, if this happens, what happens next? If you're making these venture markets, you're creating the rules, you gotta think 3 steps ahead. You gotta think rules cuck on top of rules cuck. Okay, if this happens, this happens. You know? I think it was obvious there's gonna be a Q&A section after. Because I think people even knew that. It was getting priced in. The fact that AI was so high, the fact shutdown was so high, people knew the Q&A was gonna count. They knew that in previous speeches at the economic forum or whatever, he had a Q&A afterwards with a woman, the same woman, so. I do have to like shit, but. This is so interesting. Obviously Trump's late, right? It says 1 o'clock on the, that's bullshit. Well, I hope I get my history, my money. For my, I mean, I've got record of it, so there's that, but it was for my no good afternoon and my yes shutdown. I'm confident though that it'll be fine. There have been markets in the past that say Q&A doesn't count, and this one didn't say that. I wonder if I can like just brute force my way to Google, look through Q&A. Count? No. I mean, I take the word for it, but this obviously was not meant to happen. It was a mistake. And I think Jake is just getting screamed at this point. Well, the real rules cuck is Kalshi taking down the market so soon. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't farm fees, bro. I guess that's not their go-to, but I mean real, I guess, for closing the market instantly and not even like letting people farm 5-6 cent bids. Like, it's more beneficial for Kalshi to leave the market open because then they get just more volume, but no, I hope they would understand. I don't think they would blame Jake. Yeah. I think it's just, it's a fool me once type of situation where it's like, they should have put specifically, they should have known at least human psychology that people are going to complain about everything. Like, everything physically possible that they can try to FUD, they will. So, it should have been like, put specifically, it was Q&A, but I think it should count. Foster, you think it should count? I saw your Discord message, so you said yes, but I think I would go with the precedent it counts. I would go for the fact that they said Q&A before didn't. I mean, why don't we just look at the precedent of like the markets before, see if you can find a word that was only said in the Q&A and whether it counted or not. But it's a little bit redundant now. The market's closed. So there's no point. It's not like you can farm 10 cents. Well, they're not buying anymore. Yeah, if I could have got 2 cent, 1 cent, everyone loves a lotto like that. Everyone will love a 1 cent 100 times. Everyone wants that slip, but yeah. The only, like, I was thinking the only way that would be good as well is if you had Yes AI, right? You had Yes AI and it hit specifically only in the Q&A section, then you could hedge your win by betting that it didn't count on, you know, no gold, no AI. What the other one? I know, dude. I can't look at it now because the market is closed. That is the one fucking sad thing, right? You can't even like see what you could have won, I guess. We were up 250 from the market, right? And currently my portfolio is the highest it's ever been. So it's a W. We still got Trump speeches to go. So it could, you know, we could be like Icarus and fly close to the sun, but someone did bond it for that much. And I know for a fact someone like got probably 10,000 worth of 1 cent shares and it's just like, all right, send out the AI agents, send out my 20 AI agents to ideas and FUD the ideas market. Say it shouldn't count. All right, my 20 Grok Saul Goodmans. Give me 20 different arguments of why the Q&A shouldn't count for the speech. Flood the Reddit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do, brother. If I had $100 bet to win 100 grand on a 1 cent bid or whatever, brother, I'm flooding the ideas. I'm using my alts. I'm rocking up to the New York Exchange. Excuse me, Mr. Robin Hood. I have a complaint. Gold should not count, actually. He said golf standard. He just misspoke. Yeah, they'll decide and that'll be at. It's more focused, like just to focus on the Trump market because I've won either way. I don't have a single position in this. I sold my gold when I saw that it was hit for a $2 profit. I don't even have a position in it. I'm wondering if Foster, if you're still here, do you think? Let's pull up Trump White House schedule. Do you think this bilat is open press? Like, what the fuck is this? Let's be honest. The White House is so weird. I hate the scheduling. Like, I'm gonna have to get used to it, right? But they will say they're meeting them at 1 p.m. and this will happen at 3 p.m. They're saying they're having an open press meeting. 15 minutes later, they're having the bilat that's closed press in the cabinet room. So is it just a spam on nose? Yeah, I need a mic stand. This is kind of fun though. It's kind of fun though holding it, but you're right. I need a mic stand. But I don't. Okay, so I'll show you my port on what we have for this Trump market. I've got some on Kirk Memorial because we know that's being broadcasted. We know for sure. And honestly, those are my prices there. We might buy more of whatever. We'll do more research for this Kirk one, right? But we're focused on the bilat. I have nothing on this bilat because it's closed press. So, are we spamming nose here? Are we spamming nose here? That's closed press. Like the fact, where's peso? I know peso was going crazy yesterday. The fact all these no's are, like yesterday they were at 80 something. So it makes me believe that it's more likely to be open press now because beforehand, no's are priced like 60 cents for everything, but interesting too, he's not had a bilat this year with the Argentina press. Not even, I looked to try to find history, not even a bilat with a South American president. or minister, you know, governor, whatever, prime minister, whatever they do in South America, but Venezuelan drug lord, he hasn't had a bilat with any of them. So there's not even much precedent to go off. A lot of this is just tied to Argentina itself, so. I don't know if no is the move here. Just spamming no's and hoping that they meet for 5 minutes, that Trump doesn't say any of the stuff for 5-10 minutes while it's open press Q&A, and they're like asking, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. And they go into their bilat and it's completely closed, and the rest of it resolves to no. What are you saying? Right? Because I'm not sure. If it's closed, it should just all resolve to no then. That's what I'm believing. But then what would you even get at that point? See, the lowest ones are shut down China and election and Biden. Things that, like, if it's an open press, he's obviously going to say. Yeah, this is the one thing I've learned with Trump. Fuck the schedule, bro. The schedule doesn't mean shit. The schedule, I think, is in Ugandan time, right? This is in Zoran and Ugandan hours. Because what the fuck do you mean you're having press conferences at 1 p.m.? Yeah, 1 p.m. South African time, bro. Like, not where I live. Not the East Coast. That's for sure. That's not true. But most of the time, like the bilat he had recently with the European leader, not this over. Quick flex though. Quick flex. We made money there. Didn't bet on Israel because, you know, they're watching. But oh yeah, this bilat with the finish, like I think on the schedule though it was open press, so it's just weird. It's just weird. I did ask Rock if there was ever any specifically put beforehand closed press conferences that became open press, but I don't think it really understood the prompt. I'm not there yet, but I really do have to. Shit, but we're holding it in for now, for a little bit. The fact it's closed press, though, it would never be Trump's decision, I'll tell you, for it to be closed press. That motherfucker would hope it would be open press. I agree with you, Foster. I see Foster's saying in the Discord. I've got Discord up too, just to fuel my ADHD as well. I hope the Q&A counts for the sake of future events. Should just specify we won't count Q&A. Yes, I think if it's an event contract, when he's speaking for the entire event, it should cover the entire event. That should be the precedent. Otherwise, unless it's specifically stated that it shouldn't count, then it shouldn't count. But if it's an event, we should know for the entirety of that event, while it's being broadcasted live at least, it should count, right? You shouldn't have to go up after the meeting and say, you know, your word to Jerome Powell in a TikTok just to get your word said. But like the broadcasted live from start to finish, including Q&As, that should be the precedent set. It should count. I'm not a lawyer. I would be the opposite of a lawyer, though. I would be like a lawyer that gives you negative alpha just so you could use in the court. So I would be like, yeah, dude, this should definitely be your argument. So you can just say the opposite. But interesting, though, right? It's gonna be interesting how they reason pardon, because the specific transcript, right? No pardon. Interesting. No pardon. But I did notice pardon was at 99 before the Q&A, right? I'm control Fing pardon here, the official speech for October 14th, and there was no pardon, so. Hopefully there's not even a rules situation on that one. I do like how they close it early, though, because it kind of stops people from betting on the pass, if that makes sense. Like, it's better not to have the arguments and just to go on to other stuff, if that makes sense. Just take it like it is what it is. It's a yes or a no. It's gonna be interesting though. If they do no pardon resolution, you know that they use this official transcript, because officially they wouldn't put the pardon me, I guess, in that official transcript for people reading, but he did say pardon. So, but I don't think the FedReserve.gov is an official source agency. It's interesting, but this bylaw is scaring me. I've got nothing. I'm not even putting limit orders just because I don't have a resolution on this closed press situation. It makes me think, specifically the prices being the way it is, that it is closed press. Like the fact that a lot of this is just a mod no 95. Like, is there really a 5% chance he doesn't say lithium? Or are we just saying it's a closed presser and that's why? It makes no sense to me. It does scare me though. So I'm gonna guess though, like specifically, part of this will count, at least, right? The president greeting the president of the Argentine Republic, it shouldn't count. It's not part of the bylat. Maybe we just get ready to mog these no's. Like, honestly, if we're just seeing that the bylat is closed, we just try to get no's quickly. Stay on our feet. But I would be ready with bids. I was researching this yesterday. I just could not find out whether it was closed press or not. I didn't want to buy a bunch of yeses thinking it was going to be open press, or buy a bunch of no's thinking it was going to be closed press without an actual conviction whatsoever. I have no conviction whatsoever. I can't figure it out. Let's see if we can get anyone in the Discord to have an opinion. Yeah, focus on the open markets. I do hope. We're gonna hope, because specifically, right, closed press is on the house. Maybe I just live trade this, like, completely, and then I just don't have conviction that it's gonna be open press, man. Like, what? Knowing Trump, he does what he wants, right? If he wants it to be open press, it's gonna be fucking open press, but this is scaring me, man. I don't want to buy a bunch of no's thinking it's gonna be closed and then get fucked, but So if we were gonna fade, right? Let's just theorize. Let's theorize that's going to be open press. I would say China is a good one. Here we are. They are greeting, at least. At least he's alive. You know what I'm saying? They're both there and chilling. Trump's like, get a screen cap. Just screenshot the stream for that one. He's doing the I show speed. W Trump. Fall in love. No, when all the skies are blue. Wholesome Trump moment. You don't get many of those. He's not going to heaven, according to him, so. Resolution is live for today. We're gonna see this PAL market. What did it refresh to? No, that's for not for today. Oh, this is October 15th. AI counted. Is it? No, it's not, is it? This is so weird! Why does the URL say... Yeah, this is so weird. The URL says that it's October 25th, October 15th, 2015. But this history says it's September 23rd. It's gonna be weird though. There's gonna be someone upset no matter what. It just sucks the way it is. Yeah, I don't even see it in the recents, man. Yeah, the URL. Looks like the Bilat lunch will be streamed. Don't know if that counts. Well, if it's streamed, I'm not too worried about it. Where'd you hear that from? I couldn't get a I didn't find a specific example of where first it was said it was closed press and then they live streamed it anyways and then the Kalshi market counted for it. I couldn't find an example of that. I could live trade it, right? We could live trade it and then when the Bilat is streamed, right? Forbes is saying he's hosting him and this is live, but I don't have conviction either way. If I knew for a fact it would be closed press completely, boom. No economy, you know, no investment, but no China, but this closed press specifically scared me. It's on official White House. Here we are. Yeah. Okay, that fills me with confidence though it's happening. So maybe we put some yes shares in then, finally, you know? That's some confidence that something's gonna get streamed. You know what I'm saying? At least the Bilat. A no Q&A though is a little fucking crazy. Right? We're gonna assume no Q&A here. Closed press, no Q&A, it's just gonna be bilateral. It's Trump, so maybe he does go fuck it and say Q&A anyways, but... So we do have confirmed Bilat lunch. Well, on the closed press, it was saying it was a lunch anyways, a bilateral lunch. Yeah, right. It's not Kalshi president though. You're right, that it's usually a bilateral meeting. So... Do we buy any lunch related terms? Is that the fucking alpha here? Is there digestion as a strike? Right? What would even count to any lunch resolution strikes? It was the hottest burrito It's what other people tell me. I don't say it. Other people tell me it was the hottest burrito anyone's eaten. You should have seen the investment I put into it. I put hella beans. The greatest beans. Farm from Mexico. Mexico's great. Mexico's doing great, you know, with their beans and their farmers. Our farmers aren't doing so well. He will yap the normal stuff. Yeah, so at that point, we're going yes on Biden. Let's be honest. Where's Biden? Where did it go? We don't have a Biden here? We do have a Biden here. He has been ragging on Biden. If it's going to be the normal hits, if it's going to be all the hits, I'm saying yes Biden, yes election, yes hottest. Like, these have been his usual go-tos recently. Especially, like, right? If you look, let's do some body language expertise. Trump Sigma leaning over to him, pointing, looking. Hey, look over there. Hey, smile for me. Chalking while doing the picture. Normal alpha shit. This guy's a beta. Trump's an alpha. He's gonna be the one talking throughout the entire press conference, I say. He's gonna be doing most of the talking. He's gonna go through all of the hits. I'd say he's gonna go Biden. He's gonna go. Yeah, they're gonna have to count the lunch. They're gonna have to count something. Whatever gets streamed is gonna count. No one Q&A though. Is there any questions that specifically only relate to Q&A? I thought this Charlie strike was really underpriced, just to the fact that he could have said, I'm speaking at the Charlie Kirk Memorial later today. That's how I thought it could get hit. I put in limit orders at like 5 cents. They didn't get taken. But the fact he could just say, like, I'm speaking later today at the Kirk Memorial, the Charlie Memorial, for my friend Charlie, I see that as the way it gets resolved. Yeah, he's gonna count the lunch. How much? Oh, I realized HM means how much did you bet? So the Powell market was, I believe, $400 to win 700. We hit 2 out of 3 words for a $250 win. So we almost maxed out. We almost went 3 for 3, but our pardon did hit on a cough. Or no, we had no pardon, and he said, "Pardon me on a cough." Fair enough. I just got it at a good price. I knew he was having a cold though or something. On this Trump market, this bilat, we have nothing currently because I'm a little scared shitless that this lunch is gonna be about 5 minutes because Trump's gonna have digestion issues and have to use the toilet. And we've got money on this Kirk market because, you know, I didn't sit 5 hours during the Kirk funeral for nothing. I used that alpha I gained during the Kirk Memorial. We looked at a couple transcripts, and I have a thesis for the Kirk Memorial. When Trump is speaking, what he did, at least at the funeral, he spoke a lot about Charlie as a person and what it did for his administration, how it helped him. So specifically, it helped him win the election. So we have yes for election. It helped him push his agenda of free speech and anti-woke. So we have yes for those. And his influence on young people. Trump really used him specifically to win the election, and his influence on young people, he saw his value in that demographic, right? If he saw him, as I kind of see it, as more like a value transaction than like a friend, right? You see that in his response. Right, not to bring up Jimmy Kimmel, right? But the situation where he was asked about his death and he brought up the ballroom. I don't think they were the closest friends. I think Trump was almost kind of just using his influence. So he kind of see them as a commodity, if that makes sense, something to be used. So I have yes on young people for that thesis. That's my thesis on the Kirk Medal of Freedom ceremony, is that he sees him more as a way to just get influence on young people. He was spamming young people during the funeral. And this has gone up since then, right? We can still get more fills at young people, but free speech and young people have both gone up since we've made those bids. This bilat, though, I fucking don't know, brother. Right? There's not even any... Like, I'm trying to get a little bit of a transcript here and do my research before these markets. be more of a transcript head, be more responsible, eat my veggies. But there's not even a fucking bilat with another South American president. Am I supposed to use Putin's transcript to go off? Like, this is crazy. I just don't know. Are we saying hottest hits, though? We're going with all the hits. Even in a 10-minute lunch, can he hit hottest and Biden? I'm just so fucking scared, brother. I have no idea. I like, what, am I supposed to just use other bilats? Am I supposed to use the context of Argentina? If that's true, I would slam dollar and peso because their currency is fucked. But it resolved. Did it resolve? Jake is on to Trump. Has a lunch ever counted? We're going into this again. I'm tired. I'm tired of these debates, guys. All right? No one changed my mind. I'm just trying to bet on the future, not the past. Confirmed counts. The lunch is counting. The White House is going live. Jake posted the stream of the White House going live. What are we betting on, bro? I don't know. I literally don't. Should we just try to find some type of fucking research here? Yeah, Jake did post it in the DC accounts. The lunch counts. How? Stick God. I'm imagining it's Stick God. Do you believe? How long do you think this lunch will be? Like, this will be crazy, man. What's going on, Amber? I don't believe this lunch is gonna be so long. We're gonna use our greatest research tool we have, Grok. This is how I have a finance degree, by the way. This is how you do financial research. 2 degrees, by the way. I have 2 degrees, including a financial degree from an institution that is giving them out, okay? Right? I earned it. Some will say Mickey Mouse. I will say Clubhouse. Come inside, it's fun inside. I would agree with you, but anyone doubts any of the things I do, I have a finance degree, so it is what it is. We've got a bunch of these out. Oh, wow. It seems that these lunches are long. Bilateral meeting. No, we just need lunch. We just need lunch. Working lunch, 1 hour. The Macron lunch, May 2017. Private bilateral lunch with Keir Starmer in February this year was 1.5 hours. All right, Amber, go fuck yourself. I'm not signing up for your pyramid scheme. I'm already in a bet. I'm already in 5 MLMs, okay? I don't need another one to go sell knives to my auntie, okay? I'm trying to make some money on Trump here. The bilateral was closed. Cyril Ramaphosa. That was prior to an Oval Office, though. It's a little bit unprecedented. I just don't. I'm so scared, brother. If I'm betting anything, though, it's probably Biden. Yes. Usually you see so much more conviction in these markets, like this Trump one, because there's so much data to mine as well. With Trump, he's always speaking. The fact we're not even seeing that much Norway lunch 5 minutes ago. 8 months long. I thought you stick guy over here getting some alpha. We'll find a good strike to do. So this was April 24th. Trump hosted a bilateral with the Norway leader. Is it live? I can't see that link. Hold on. We'll go into it. Bilateral lunch.
Thank you very much. It's a real honor to have you.
I find it so funny. Funny Marco Rubio is part of his cabinet and stuff.
concerned. And that on that we work together.
China.
China
I
hit.
think you have
China
to
hit,
issue.
even though it was a
I think
7
you
minute
have
lunch.
your reporting wrong. Thank you very much. We'll see you. We'll see you inside. Thank you.
We'll see you inside. Interesting though, I wonder, like, can you see what his April, right? 5 months ago, April. What specifically his White House schedule said was going on? April 24th. Okay, April 15th, April 2022, April 24th. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? This bilateral lunch was closed press, but they had a bilateral meeting afterwards. So that's probably why it was 5 minutes long, is what he said, we'll see you shortly. It was an open press. Yeah. Well, it doesn't even say if it's open press. It says White House press pool. So it was open press. Bilateral meeting with the Norway president right after. Or an hour after, right? When this started specifically, who the hell knows? Definitely not on time, though. I could give you a 99% probability it wasn't on time. But this guy, you know, this is why Grok is a little like, let's be honest, not useful. You gotta check it yourself, because this just told me it was an hour long. And this obviously was not an hour long. It was an hour long. If you compared it to the White House schedule, yes, it was an hour long. I think that's what they're doing. Yeah, 12:30 to 1:30, bundle and bilateral meeting, but... And obviously, that wasn't an hour long. Although China still hit. Look at that. Dude, this guy...
But thank you very much for that question. I like that question. I like that question.
Ask a question on China. I like that question. Okay, this guy's betting on Kalshi himself, huh? Yes, ask me a China question so I can say China 50 times. Hit my China 5+ strike. Stupid. Well, do we just fade though? We hope, like, he doesn't have anything else though. This bilat could go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Could go crazy long. Just for the fact he doesn't have anything after. He's got a Medal of Freedom ceremony 3 hours later. Yeah, you're right. Although we're in trade war with China now, so you could even say that's still not resolved. The 100% tariff fright. What happened to my XRP? Yeah, bud. One Truth Social tweet. Thanks your MetaMask portfolio. Still not resolved, but also during that time he had the bilateral meeting an hour after scheduled. Today he has nothing scheduled. He's got the Charlie Kirk at 4, which is probably gonna happen at 6, let's be honest. I could see it going longer. If it goes longer, then what is an absolute fucking lock? What is it then? Looks like I'm not getting these at 60. Should I bump it up to 62? I say that he's gonna talk about the election faux show. We'll do 63. Who's gonna penny pinch me? Is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Penny pinchers? Penny pinchers? Any penny pinchers? Any penny pinchers? No, I didn't get penny pinched. Look at that. If it is a long lunch, which is probably the only alpha I can probably get at this point, that he's probably just gonna go on and on. Yes, shutdown, I would say is likely. Yes, Biden, I would say is likely. Yes, hottest, I would say is likely. Those seem to be the hits right now. Shutdown, hottest, and Biden. And even, bro, a Schumer shutdown is not a bad strike. And, of course, I've got a Barack Hussein Obama for this week as well. If we go Trump this week. Yeah, I need a mic stand. Holy shit. Auto pen's at 55. Well, fucking higher than my Barack Hussein Obama, but it could hit in this bilateral lunch because it's pretty casual. So it's a pretty casual setting, and if he's gonna say something like that, he's gotta be in rally mode, if that makes sense. You're not gonna see it at, well, maybe you get it at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. You never know. He was kind of in rally mode during the funeral, but during a bilateral lunch, that could definitely be when he's going unhinged. People are saying Miley's attending the Charlie Kirk memorial. Where's the Kirk strike? I'm on the Kirk market. Up to 48, man, bro. If I got my limit orders on this one, dude, I set them at like 6 cents. When they were tanking, I thought there was a chance it comes up just in passing, as in Trump saying he's gonna go to the Kirk Memorial later today. But, like, yeah, it's probably not gonna get brought up at all. But the fact, this is now seen from the fact that the president of Argentina has confirmed it going. He's going to go to the memorial, so. Up to 65. That might be an overreaction, right? But
Thank you very much. It's a great honor.
we've got it!
Of Argentina, a place that I love.
I've got nothing on.
And one of the most beautiful places in the world, President. And I really want to thank you very much. He's MAGA all the way. It's Make Argentina Great Again. I heard about him when he was campaigning, and even before his campaign. He's a great economist. He was saying a lot of very correct things. He was very much in a conservative mode, and I heard all about you as you were running and even before you were running, because as a tremendously talented economist, you were getting a lot of good write-ups.
Economist?
I appreciated that, but he was Make Argentina Great Again. It worked. I actually sent him some hats for his early part of the campaign, and then he called me. He wanted a lot more, and I said, "When does it stop? When will it stop?"
This is good for economy,
and
I
it
guess.
stopped with him winning, and he's become very popular, and he's on the verge of a breakthrough. I think he's really on the verge of tremendous economic success, and I know
Economic? Does economic count for economy? No,
Scott
right?
is doing
That
the
should not
job,
count.
and he feels very strongly about it. And Scott, do you want to say just a couple of words about that, please?
Yes, sir. The president is fighting a
Dude, this is right for live trading. There's a live trade here. We can get like a 10x. There's got to be something.
We're fighting bad. I thought he was talking about the U.S. president when he said that.
and there's a midterm election coming up. We think he's going to do quite well and then continue his reform agenda. Mr. President, as you said, President Obama had a big opportunity during his term, which he wasted. Many governments in Latin America went center right and the U.S. ignored them. We are not going to ignore our allies. It is economic strength. We're using our economic strength to create peace, just as you've done all over the world. And it is much better to form an economic bridge with our allies, people who want to do the right thing, than have to have shoot at narco gunboats. So we think that this is an opportunity for the Argentinian people, and that President Milei is the one to do it. He's got a great cabinet. He's got a great team who we've worked with over the past weeks.
And the election is coming up very
There you go,
soon,
election.
And it's a very big election being watched by the world because he's done an incredible job. But with that comes some
You're
pain.
gonna see election
And,
spike
they
on
have
the
some
curve market
pain,
then.
And now they're coming out of it. I think the victory is very important. Your poll numbers, I hear, are pretty good, but I think they'll be better after this. And you know, our approvals are somewhat subject to who wins the election, because if
We're hoping
the
that we're hoping
socialist,
this.
or in the case of New
Should
York
we
City,
buy
a
this
communist
67,
wins,
man?
you feel a lot differently about making
Gonna
an
leave it.
investment. I think, Scott, you'd feel that
We're gonna leave it.
if
Election
somebody
will just
that
go
had
up,
no
though.
chance,
It will
in
just
other
go
words,
up and up and
somebody
up.
wins and has no chance of
He's just
ever
said it 4
having
times.
a great economy because of that philosophy.
Economy.
You would put a halt to what we're doing.
Yes, sir, and we're confident that President Milei is.
I'm not
gonna do
mod.
well.
Oh fuck! I
We've been
missed it, bro. I was trying to buy that
criticized by
95.
Peronis, like Senator Warren. So,
Wow, there's some. It's late. I don't
and,
even expect to get those.
she-
You know what I'm
she
saying?
That's a
and-
compliment.
Yeah.
She has no idea what she's doing. She's a nasty, horrible senator. Go ahead.
And-
Other
and-
than that, I like her very much.
Yes, and she and her
Trump.
protege in New York, Mandame, who I don't even think he's a Peronist. I think he's more of the
Zoran?
communist chauvinismo. So we stand with the president and what he stands for, and the hope for the Argentinian people.
I'm gonna
And
pull up this
President
market
Trump,
too,
like
just in
you,
case.
he
Because
cares
Zoran's
the young
on strike,
people.
isn't he?
So it's hope for the future. The Argentines have made the decision to shake off 100 years of bad policy. They went from one of the richest countries in the world to a ton of debt. And I think that with the bridge the U.S. is giving them and the strong policies, that Argentina can
Someone's
be
on
great
it.
again.
Thank you very much. Please, go ahead, please.
Muchísimas gracias por esta recepción. Me siento muy
We fade
honrado,
dollar here? I don't
muy
know, bro. I'm like, I
especialmente
got
en
nothing.
este momento en el que, digamos, gracias al gran liderazgo suyo, presidente Trump, ha logrado la paz en Medio Oriente. No solo este gran logro que ha sido alcanzar la paz
Trump's
en
like,
Medio Oriente,
yeah, I'm just waiting for the
sino lograr el
translation, bro.
retorno de los 20 rehenes vivos. Además, quiero también felicitar por esa labor y por entender, digamos, la amenaza que es el socialismo del siglo XXI en todo el mundo, y en especial en América Latina, la labor de Marco Rubio. Y también quiero
Marco
agradecer
Rubio.
profundamente
I understood that one.
el enorme trabajo que ha
Arriba!
hecho el
1, 2,
secretario
3,
Bessel,
4, 5, 6, 7,
digamos,
8, 9,
para
10.
ayudar a superar este problema de iliquidez que tenía Argentina como consecuencia, digamos, de los ataques políticos que hemos sufrido por nuestros opositores que no quieren que Argentina vuelva a abrazar las ideas de la libertad y que quieran volver a abrazar ideas perimidas, fracasadas, que en el fondo no son ni más ni menos que caminos que conducen al socialismo. Así es que, en primer lugar, muchas gracias por recibirme, muchas gracias por lo que están haciendo por el mundo libre y muchas gracias al secretario Bessel por la enorme tarea que ha llevado a cabo y que, digamos, nos permite tener una ruta para poder transitar tranquilos y hacer lo que los argentinos de bien necesitan, y que creo que va a ser un buen caso para mostrar al mundo que las ideas de la libertad funcionan y generan prosperidad. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have a interpreter that wants to you all either have that? Has everyone understood? Because I think you made a very important.
Can we
profound
get an
statement,
interpreter?
actually. But, We could have it interpreted if you want. Does anybody
If
want it?
if anyone wants
Would
it,
you
it's not like I need it. It's not
Would
like
you
I
like
need it. Obviously,
any
I knew what he was
interpreters speak
saying.
what,
I just for everyone
we have
else. If
somebody
anyone
set
else
up
needs
that?
it interpreted,
You want?
bro, this guy's hilarious, bro. Trump is so funny.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll leave it that way. So it's an honor to have you here, and I just want to tell you that your career has been an amazing one, and it's going to continue with the election. You're going to win the election. We're going to endorse you. I'm going to endorse you today. Fully endorse you. And
Fully endorse.
People in Argentina like me. A lot of people like me. I'm even surprised myself. But we had a great
I'm surprised myself.
week. We had a great weekend. We had a great period of time in the Middle East. It was very comprehensive.
Middle East.
It went very rapidly, and I think it's going to lead to something that's going to be unrecognizable, certainly for the Middle East. What's taken place in the last few days, people can't believe it. I've never seen anything like it.
They're dancing in the streets. We know, Trump.
And I've done a lot of things. I've done a lot of deals. I've done a lot of political deals where countries come into line or whatever. But I've never seen anything like this, the level of love. And it has to do with the mystique of the Middle East, I think. Because if I did
He's
other
on the
countries,
Middle
I did
East.
a-
I don't see any of these
7
strikes in it.
other settlements of wars, complete settlements of wars, and it was very well received. But this is something I've never seen anything like it. The media covered it very fairly, and even
He's
the
on the peace in
fake
Middle East, man.
news, of which we have a lot. They actually covered it fairly for a change, and I appreciated that. We have to get back to that; it's so important. But I just want to say it's a pleasure to be with you, and we're going to have lunch, and we'll take a couple of questions from the news, and I'm sure they'll be
Oh.
extremely non-hostile and.
We'll take a
friendly.
couple questions. Should we
Like
say
JD
shut
went through a
down?
very friendly
Should we buy
interview
shut
with
down?
George Slopadopoulos, who was nice
Slopadopoulos?
enough to pay me $16 million the last time we came. He had to pay $16 million to me, which was good. It was worth having somebody lie. If you get $16 million, that's good. But JD had a very nasty person interviewing him, and we can't let that happen. Just as
Talking about
inappropriate
Slopadopoulos.
to cut off a highly respected vice president.
JD's
of the
happy. He's
United
like, "Aw."
States mid-sentence. It was, I guess
Daddy,
it's one way
Daddy.
to win an argument. That was the only
Daddy,
way
help
to win
me.
the argument. So it was pretty inappropriate. I want to tell you that. So
That
thank you
yeah.
very much.
Anyone
Do
see
you
that
have
clip where he's
something?
gotten cut off? That was kind of crazy.
Sí, quería
Yeah.
darle.
I'll get it.
What is this? The Nobel Peace Prize? Finally?
That's fantastic. Thank
What
you.
is that?
And when he did this letter, Mr. President,
The letter?
your settlement in the Middle East wasn't done.
Ah,
So we have to do a new letter
let's do it.
to include that because this is a very important.
You'll have to add one extra sentence. per paragraph.
Exactly.
That's great. Thank you very much. This is such a beautiful statement. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Thank you.
That's beautiful. He's getting questioned now.
Mr. President, how is this Argentina?
Why don't we talk about Argentina first, and then go ahead. How is Argentina going?
Mr.
About
President,
the
how is this
influence of
Argentina?
China in Argentina? Sorry.
Go ahead.
How is this Argentina
China?
rescue package America first? And is this rescue package meant to help President Milei's party in the coming election?
Dude.
No,
Oh,
it's-
she's got.
it's really meant to help
I
the
seen the fucking bids right there.
Financial
61. Do we
philosophy
get it?
where
61?
Argentina can, after 20 years of disaster, because it was very
Fuck!
successful.
Dude, stop
at one
buying
point,
it.
And it can be again, like Venezuela. Venezuela was very, very successful.
Yo,
Now
stop
it's,
buying these fucking chairs.
a
They're trying to
dictatorship.
KT's trying to
So,
market make, brother.
when we can help our neighbors, we're making tremendous progress in
Anyone hear the
South
China
America. South
preamble?
America, Marco was telling
That
me-
woman's asking a question
He's
about
like our
China.
Great expert here. He really knows it. But you were telling me that so many of the countries
Ah!
are coming our way, and we.
I
had
seen it at
a few years
60,
ago.
bro.
When
I was
when
about to snap
just
that up.
Came back,
I gotta be quicker.
so I've been here now almost 9 months. But when I just came in, I was amazed to see how poorly we've done. We lost so many, and one of them was Argentina. Would be lost if he wasn't there. And I think he will be there because the people recognize he's done an amazing
wasn't
job.
there?
He took over a real mess. So did I take over a mess. I took over a mess by the Biden group. And Obama
Biden.
was he started it.
We knew
Okay,
Biden was
Barack
happening.
Hussein Obama started it. Could you give a couple of words on South America? You were telling me
Oh, I
so
thought he was
well
gonna hit
yesterday
Hussein.
How well we're doing. Go
Well,
ahead.
first of all, we have now 8
Wait,
or
what?
9
He said
10
it?
countries, Argentina.
Hussein Obama started it. So did I take over a mess. I took over a mess by, the Biden group. And Obama he started it. I'll tell you. Barack Hussein Obama.
Yes!
A couple of words on South America. You were telling me so well.
Barack Hussein
First
Obama!
of all, we have now 8 or 9, 10 countries, Argentina being foremost among them, that have aligned with the United States on issue after issue in international community events all over the world. They're, in fact, these great allies.
Boom! I had a feeling it was gonna hit today, dude. I was like,
El Salvador, but I think one of the more
let's
promising
go!
developments
Okay,
is
I've not bet on
later
this
month
market,
will
but
be
we've
election in
made
Bolivia. After 25, 30 years of
what is that?
anti-American hostile
150 bucks on Barack Hussein Obama.
Want strong and better relations with the United States and another
Dude,
transformative opportunity there.
Christian, you seen that?
So I think this is important. This is our hemisphere. It's where we live.
We want to help Argentina, and we want to always.
All right, let's see if we can Why would he say rare earth? I have no idea, Dustin, bro. Dustin, I have no idea.
Product. And we used to do a lot of trade, and then if you look at what
Let's
the Democrats,
go.
well, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Our
Honestly, they
Barack
didn't know what
Hussein
they were doing.
Obama hit.
But a lot of that trade.
Trump's
disappeared,
best
and they have
nickname
great
by
products.
far,
So
by the way.
We will be trading.
Slopadopoulos has
helpful to them.
nothing on Barack Hussein Obama.
Also.
Oh, here's China. Yeah, I should have got those China strikes, man. I'm so fucking stupid.
China.
I should have known, dude. The lady literally pre-fired a China question.
It's China. And
I should have known. I'm sorry, Stick God, bro. That should have been me, bro. Still no shutdown question is crazy though. Do we just get some Schumer and hope a shutdown question gets
I
asked?
don't think you should be doing business much with. You can do some trade, but you certainly shouldn't be doing beyond that. Certainly shouldn't be doing anything having to do with the military with China. And if that's what's happening, I'd be very upset about that. Yeah. You understand that, Scott, right?
Mr. President,
You do understand.
Mr. President, what about the swap? Because it's so important for Argentina, the swap.
Okay, go
in
ahead.
the central bank.
The American assistance is not predicated on the swap with China being closed. Any reporting to that effect is incorrect.
But you said, sorry. But
All
you
right.
said that
I fuck with the green tie. He's setting it straight. Trying to got nothing to do with this shit.
business on the agenda, and the swap is so important for Argentina.
No, I was referring more to ports, military bases, observation facilities that have been created in Argentina.
Then the swap.
I'm surprised no hottest yet. Do we just buy Kirk and say they're gonna say we'll see you at the Kirk Memorial?
Yeah, behind you, please.
Yes,
The Charlie?
President for Argentina. What's the benefit for United States in helping this way?
He might say thank you for joining me at lunch. I'll see you at the memorial.
Country. Argentina is one of the most beautiful countries.
The
that I've
Charlie
ever seen.
Memorial? What do you
And,
think? I have no idea why rare earth or mineral could be said, man. Mineral seems way more likely than rare earth,
It's not going to
but
make a big difference for our country, but it will in terms of South America. If Argentina does well, you're going to have others following, and a lot of others are following. You have countries in South America that 2 years ago would have never even been thought of to go as democracies or as just countries that want to do fair and balanced trading. And now you mentioned Bolivia, but there are numerous other countries that are coming our way. And Brazil, as you know, I had a very good conversation with the president. I met him at the United Nations before I went up to speak, and then I found that he didn't have a speech because I had no teleprompter. They turned off my teleprompter purposely.
he's still mad about the
Made it
teleprompter thing.
impossible.
That happened 3 weeks ago, bro.
But it didn't sound.
That happened before the shutdown.
Without.
You're really gonna go on that and not the shutdown?
But no, and think of that. You go into the United Nations, I'm speaking in front of 158 leaders and the whole world. And I look at my teleprompter and it's dead. They killed my teleprompter. They wouldn't let the man that operated into the booth. Can you believe that?
You don't have any specific interest in economic terms for the
I
state?
do have. No, I want to see it succeed. I think it's going to be great, and we will benefit also. But it's not that big a benefit because it's not that big a country, but it's a
Yo,
very important country.
chat?
and it's a country that can be
That
very
Hussein
successful.
hit was
There's some
huge.
countries that will never be successful. This is a country
150?
that has great potential if it has the right
Yo, we're
leadership,
getting up
and you
there.
have
We're
the
getting
right
up there.
leadership
We're gonna
in
be
this world
positive by
right
the end of the day.
now, okay?
Mr. President, what do you say?
Not today. Maybe the end of the week.
I would say that I'll leave that up to my my economic people, but I like the dollar.
Dollar.
I'm very strong on the dollar. And anybody who wants to deal in dollars, they have an advantage over people that aren't. But for the most
People that
part,
aren't.
we're keeping it that way. I think if Biden would have, Biden, that group would have gotten.
I'm
like
not fading
Kamala,
peso though here. I'm so like pussy
you
on this
wouldn't have the
market. I have no
dollar
idea what to
as
buy, bro.
your currency anymore. You wouldn't have a world domination by the dollar if I didn't win this election. And now the domination, like
Election,
BRICS.
dollar.
I told anybody wants to be in BRICS, that's fine, but we're going to put tariffs on your nation.
Tariffs?
Everybody dropped
Wow.
out. They're all dropping out of BRICS. BRICS was an attack on the dollar. And I said, you want to play that game, I'm going to put tariffs on all of your product coming into the U.S. They said, like I said, we're dropping out of BRICS. And BRICS is like, they don't even talk about it anymore. Scott, you want to add to that?
We're very happy with the current currency arrangement.
That might be a Sia for peso.
ABC fake news after what you did
Fake news?
with Stephanopoulos to the Vice President of the United States.
Look
don't
at
take
that!
questions from ABC fake news. Brian, go ahead.
Wow, I was close. But there's some speedsters out there.
Did you ever think
I was close on that fake news though.
I did too. Go ahead.
But on a lighter note, Alyssa Farah, she is one of the
God
first
damn it.
on ABC.
Dude, maybe I should just stay on this weak market, bro, and live trade this. This is crazy. He's hitting 2 from here, just on this press conference.
One day on this show,
Just from this lunch.
thank you for doing it. You're responsible.
He's gonna go after Joe now?
She hasn't got the hat yet.
Who is it? Which one?
Alyssa Farah.
Oh, yeah. Well, she used to work for me. So she used to work here. I'll tell you about Alyssa. She worked here. She gave me the most beautiful letter when, the administration, the time came up, the election was rigged, I left. She gave me the most beautiful letter you've ever seen. I was a great president. What a great job. Some of the letters have been quoted. This is Alyssa, who I never thought was very outstanding. I figured she would not make it. And she didn't have a big role here either. And then we had January 6th. And she left after that or before that. But she gave me the most beautiful letters. And then even months
crazy
after
long
she
shot.
left, and
A
while
January
we
6th
weren't
mention.
here any longer, she sent another letter, glowing letter, beautiful letter. And then she got hired by The View, and they gave her a couple of bucks, and she changed her view very quickly. I never thought she'd make it. Never thought she had what it took in any way. You know what that means. But she's on The View. But it just shows what a fraud The View is, because this woman gave me letters and statements. She said I was the greatest president in her lifetime. Now, she's not that old, so I didn't consider it a great compliment, but I've had better. Well,
Yeah,
recently
Trump's
I've
hilarious,
had
bro. You should have been a
the greatest
comedian, bro. You
president
should
of
have
them all. I
not
like that much
gotten
better.
into politics.
Because I said,
You
"Does
should
that
have
include
stayed doing
Washington
late
and
night.
Reagan?" Yes, sir, it does. I said, I like that person. So I think she's a total. I think she's a joke.
Mr. President, on Gaza, how long will it take Hamas to disarm, and can you guarantee that is going to happen?
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do. Above all else, get the hostages back. Now,
There we go,
misrepresented
hostages.
because we were
Hostage
told they
3
had
plus would have worked there.
26, 24 of dead hostages, if we can use those terms. And it seems as though they don't have that because we're talking about a much lesser number. But that's a very tough subject. I want them back. That's what they said. I want them back. Also, they said they were going to disarm. And initially speaking, they needed.
You guys think for the Kirk market, he's going to be on the Middle East as much as he is here?
Of gang members.
It's crazy because these strikes
That
were
should bother
assuming
me
like,
much, to
right?
be
There's
honest
no
with you. It's
peace in the
okay.
Middle
That's a
East
couple of very great
strikes at
gangs,
all
you
that
know.
relate to
No different than
the
other
to
countries.
the Gaza
Like
conflict.
Venezuela sent
But
their gangs into
there
us,
might
and we
be
took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C.
with other ones.
is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country if you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work. Isn't it nice? But we have...
Is there peace in the
told
Middle
them
East strikes
we want
here?
disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And
That's
it'll
the
happen
Argentina one.
quickly and
Hold on.
perhaps violently.
You say-
But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
You say
Because you
quickly.
always, everyone says, oh, well, they won't
Yeah,
disarm.
election's gone up.
They will disarm. And I spoke to
Sucks.
Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm.
We'll try to get our election filled.
They will
We'll try to get that
disarm, or
filled.
we will disarm them. Got it? Okay,
What is
next.
the deadline for this? You say quickly, sir, you say quickly, but what is the deadline you're gonna put on
A
that before you
reasonable
take
period of
action?
time. Pretty-
Should we
pretty
put
quick.
Kirk
A
in?
reasonable period of time.
That's a reasonable bet, bro. They could just talk about it, that they're gonna go to the memorial.
Are you
We'll
from
see you at the
Argentina?
Charlie Memorial.
I like the Argentina.
I don't know
Much
though.
better than ABC. Than ABC.
Hostage Rose
Yes,
though.
Does continued U.S. support for Argentina depend on the results of the upcoming legislative elections?
So the only Gaza-related strike is hostage in the, I guess, terrorist.
Well, I think if they don't do that, we're not going to be around very long. Scott, can you handle that one, please?
We're confident that the president's party will and the coalition will do well in the election, and this aid is predicated on robust policies, and going back to the failed Peronis policies, would cause a U.S. rethink.
Thank you very much.
It's a little bit. It's a great question. It's a little like New York. You know, you're reading in Argentina about New York. We have a
New
problem.
York?
We have a communist who's 33 years old, doesn't know a damn thing. Practically, he's never worked
Come
a
on,
day in his life,
hit it,
and he sort of caught on.
hit it,
And I'm not going to send a lot of money to New York.
hit a Zoran
I don't
mention.
have to. You know, the money comes all through the White House, and if they're going to be sending us stupid policies, I mean, communist policies.
Hit a
which
Zoran
proven
mention.
for thousands of years doesn't work. You know, we don't have to prove it again.
Come on, say his
We're
name.
not going to ruin one of our great cities because we'll make that great. We will clean up the crime in about 30 days. Took 12 days
Come on.
to do Washington,
Say his
D.C.,
name.
so New York is bigger.
Say his name.
And,
Say the boogeyman's name.
Chicago, we've already made a lot of progress
Boogeyman.
despite fighting from the government, but
Boogeyman.
Chicago's doing great. Memphis is doing really great. You know, we have great support there from the political leaders. They said, please come in and clean up crime. And we love it. We've in 1 week, Memphis is so good.
Ah,
It's so
he's
much
off New
better.
York.
We'll have it.
I
within a
was
month, we'll have that.
Dying to click that submit button on
And
Zoran,
hopefully we
bro.
wanna
This
clean
would have
it up.
been
We don't like
bonded.
That opposition,
This would have been
but if
bonded by
somebody's
yours
gonna be
truly.
A communist mayor of New York, it's
Oh.
a fluke if he gets in. There are a lot of failed people that he's running against. I mean, we have failed. You have
Say his name!
candidates or something, and because it's impossible to think that New York City can have a communist mayor. He's a communist. He's not a socialist, by the way. There's a big difference. He's a communist. He's down and dirty. He's a communist.
Wow.
He hates police. He wants to get rid of all police. I mean, how can a policeman? He hates Jewish people, and yet he's got Jewish people supporting. He hates Jewish people.
Come on.
So it comes through
Come on.
the White House. The funding for New York and for every place
Come on.
comes through the White House.
Say his name.
And I'm very generous, and I was always very generous.
Say his name.
with
He's the
New York, even
boogeyman.
When you had opposition there, but I was always very generous. But I wouldn't be generous to a communist, a guy that's going to take the money and throw it out the window, because you're talking
The
about
socialists count for
hundreds of
socialism? I would
billions
say
of
no.
dollars. And we're not going to let somebody get into office and squander the taxpayer money from this country. We're not going to let it happen. So it's a little bit like that with, if you take a look, Argentina. If
Yeah, it doesn't
the
count.
president doesn't win, I know the person that he'd be running against, I believe, probably. We probably have the person. The person is extremely far left and a philosophy that got Argentina into this problem in the first place. So we would not be generous with Argentina if that happened. If he loses, we are not going to be generous with Argentina.
Mr. President, you talk about Argentina and important in the Latin America. What is your plan?
Didn't
for
say Zoran's
Venezuela?
name, man. He didn't say the boogeyman's
The
name.
narco-terrorism in the President Maduro.
Determined.
What is
What
your
the hell?
plan?
Well, Venezuela's done a couple of things very badly. Number one, we get drugs and all of that. But we get something
Ooh,
a
drug.
little worse. because they're a big purveyor
Wow.
of drugs. But we
Drug
we have
was
worse.
trading low.
What they do very well is they send their criminals into the United States, and they send Tren de Aragua, that you know very well. You're from Venezuela, I assume. And they send them in by the thousands, literally. And these are the worst of all. And they empty their prisons into the United States. They empty their mental institutions into the United States. And because we had a president who's low IQ, he didn't realize
Low
what was going
IQ.
on. And the people that are high IQ that surround him, but they happen to be lunatics.
Wow,
radical
low
left.
IQ
They're
President
highly
Biden.
intelligent, radical left lunatics. Okay?
Radical
So
left!
It's worse than having a guy like Biden.
Wow, radical
but they ran
left
the show.
hit.
You heard about the auto
Trading
pen.
at 20
The
cents,
person
10
that
cents.
that really operated the auto pen, but it was really the people that
Auto pen?
that operated the auto pen what to do. Those
What?
Okay.
Yo,
we're
he's
not
going
in this
crazy.
country. And
He's going
and by the way,
nuts.
that auto pen thing is under serious investigation. Just this, I don't think you care because you're from Argentina. You couldn't care less about that. But I just want to say, because I do the weave, you know, the weave, cover a lot of different subjects.
Yes,
but
you are.
The people
He
that are
knows.
involved in that auto
He's
pen scam,
he's self.
because he barely signed it.
Ironic. He knows what he's
He's
doing.
president. He barely signed it, but the only thing we can find for sure
He's
is that
going
he
off
signed
on auto
Hunter's
pen?
pardon. His,
Wow.
pardon. Hunter's pardon. I like that. That's
Pardon?
a good combination. So
Pardon would have hit too.
We're going to work very much with the president. We think he's going to win. He should win. And if he does win, we're going to be very helpful. And if he doesn't win, we're not going to waste our time because you have somebody whose philosophy has no chance of making Argentina great again.
What's your advice?
Steve, go ahead. Steve.
What's your advice for
Just to check
Steve,
something,
go ahead,
Just to
Steve.
check something, you said Hamas assured you that they would disarm. Was that a direct conversation or through
my people.
Mr. Witkoff or?
Through my people.
Okay, thank
At
you.
the highest level.
What's your advice?
And it was meant for me.
Yes, sir.
What's
Yeah.
your advice for President Milei and Argentina as a political leader?
My advice is to hold strong to his principles because he's right and he's proving that he was right. He's got one problem. He's got people that are giving him tremendously bad press, even though they know it's wrong. He's got to hold true to his principles because he's going to win. He's going to win.
What
He's
is
doing
going
the
to
right
hit your?
thing.
Is it going to be a
Everybody
shutdown?
knows he's doing the
Question?
right thing, but you have a radical left sick culture.
Wow.
That's
Two
a very
radical
dangerous
lefts.
group of people, and they're trying to make him look bad. I believe he's going to win out.
And what about the rivalry with China in this house?
China.
China in this.
Well, you have
You
to be
know,
careful with
there's a
China.
base
Look, we have
Patagonia.
everybody deals with China. They have to deal with us too. We have to be careful with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi, but sometimes it gets testy because China likes to take advantage of people, and they can't take advantage of us. But we have a fair relationship with China, and I think it'll be fine. And if it's not, that's okay too. You have to do and go where the punches are thrown. You got to put up the blocks. We have a lot of punches being thrown, and we've been very successful. Look, we have the most success. I think we're the most successful we've ever been as a country. We have now close. I've been saying 17. We have, I think, close to or maybe even exceeding $18 trillion going to be invested in the United States. That's more money than ever invested in any country before. Even
Invested?
countries with much bigger populations like India or like China. Nobody's ever had $18 trillion invested in the country. We have, and that's because of November 5th election, because I won.
I want to go
Well,
on
if-
no
if
event
she
investment.
won, you'd be negative. You'd have people getting out of the country. This country would have been.
Ah, fuck it,
would have
fuck it,
been
fuck
in
it,
a
fuck
major
it.
Depression.
No investment.
If she won, we would have been.
He said invested,
1929.
right?
They'd like to see that anyway. That's why they keep the government closed. They have a shutdown. based
Shut
on
down!
numbers. They want to give away 1.5. Think of it. They want to give away $1.5 trillion.
Yeah, invested is not investment.
People that come into the country illegally. And as you know, the borders now are closed. But when they hear that they get the greatest health care package in the world and they have no money, but they're living okay in another country, they head up and they start forming caravans and they try and come into our country. But the big problem is they want to give health care to people that should not get health care. They want to give health care to illegal immigrants by the millions. Look at Gavin Newsom, what he's done. He's ruined California. He gives health
Here
care
you
to
go,
anybody.
Newscom.
And I guess they do it for votes. I actually think it's bad politics, but I guess they do it for votes. So I'm with this man because
No
his
Newscom?
philosophy is correct. And he may win and he may not win, but I think he's going to win. And if he wins, we're staying with him. And if he doesn't win, we're gone.
Wow. Dodge. I was ready to clear Newscom there.
To the peace process, to the Middle East peace process.
They could help by doing well. If Argentina does well, that's helpful because they know we help Argentina. So if Argentina is successful,
You can say investment here.
that's great because they view us as somebody that helped Argentina and they did well, and the United States maybe will help them and they're going to do well. So the success of Argentina would be a great feather in the cap of the USA because we're helping them.
Yes, Dodge.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, behind you. Behind you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week you said that NATO should consider expelling Spain.
What?
You said that NATO should consider expelling Spain. Would you support that?
What expelling Spain?
NATO consider expelling Spain.
Oh. I'm very unhappy with Spain. They're the only country that didn't raise up their number to 5%. Every other country in NATO raised up to 5%. And Spain is doing very well off our backs. So I'm not happy with Spain.
Yeah, invested doesn't count
Spain
for investment.
gets protection, and they know, look, they're sort of in the semi-middle of it, so they're going to get protected.
He said
automatically,
invested
even if you
a
don't
bunch
wanna
of times,
protect
but not
them,
investment.
protecting them because of the way they're located. And I think what Spain did is a very bad thing for NATO.
We're going
I think
in.
It's very unfair to NATO.
$27 to make 170.
It wouldn't matter if you said you're not going to protect them because they're pretty much protected. What are you going to do? Go through the other countries and let's go attack Spain, right? So I think what they did is not nice.
Is he gonna say hottest?
I think it's very disrespectful to NATO. In fact, I was thinking about giving them trade punishment through tariffs because of what they did. And I may do that. I think
No.
unbelievably
Investing and
disrespectful.
investment are two
Spain,
different words.
The only one out of all.
Invested, investing. We need. It would be straight investment or investments.
For that, yes, I do.
I think that was a good buy. I'm not even gonna lie.
I do.
It's very.
I actually have
It's
a
still
man
priced
who
low though.
is a very wealthy person.
We're gonna see how long
I
this
know
still
that when I
goes.
tell you this, who called a donor, a great gentleman, and he said, if there's any money necessary, shortfall, for the paying of the troops, then I will pay it, meaning he will pay it. How about that? I said, look, we're not going to need it. We're going to take care of our troops, but this was a position that's being forced upon us by Democrats. And all they have to do is just sign a piece of paper saying we're going to keep
Why is it
going
trading
the way
so
you know,
high? I don't know.
There's nothing. It's not like
There's
it
someone
shouldn't
putting
even
up
be an
17
argument.
cent
They've
shares.
signed it many times before. I don't want to
Could
bore
be
you
a
with
trick.
the fact
I followed
that
for
Schumer
it.
said 100 times you should never close up government. But Schumer's a weakened
Schumer!
politician. I mean, he's going to finish his career as a failed politician. He's a failed politician. He's allowed the
We got
radical
Schumer
left
mention.
to take over the Democrat Party. So if they write books about that, if they write books about him, they're going to have to say that his career ended by allowing the radical left to take over the party.
Wow,
I mean, I
trading
won
at
an
10
election in
cents,
a
8
landslide
cents there.
because people are not into the radical left.
Are we gonna get
and
woke?
The Democrat Party is. People didn't want to men playing in women's sports.
We're
They
gonna get
didn't
a
wanna
woke
see
here?
Transgender for everybody. They didn't want to
Transgender.
see all of the different things that they do that's so crazy. Open borders. I mean, the worst
Transgender's
thing
not
that he
even a
did to us,
strike.
not inflation, because we fixed inflation. Prices are way down. I don't know if you saw that gasoline went to 58 just now. Did you see what's going on with gasoline?
Gas?
No,
Dude, he's hitting.
$15 a
He's
barrel.
hitting all the hits.
Nobody can believe
tonight.
it. I'm very proud of that. You know why? Because we're pumping like we've never pumped before. Because if you get the gas price down, everything else comes down. It's very simple.
Wow.
And he went away from my policies, and
Still no investment here.
you had the greatest inflation. The last administration had the greatest inflation in the history of our country. And now, as you know, groceries are down. It's all down. We're doing good.
We could get a woke here.
It's up to them. All they have to do is just vote to extend.
Why is
We don't
investment
need it.
so
We're not
high?
saying we want money. We don't. All we need is a right to extend. They want a right to extend, but they want $1.5 trillion
Investment
so they
would have
can
been
give it away
bonded,
to
right,
illegal
1%?
immigrants, the people that are invading your cities. And many of these people, for whatever reason, I mean, I understood this. I called it a long time ago.
Look at this.
These countries are run by people I know.
Someone's
Friends
got
of mine.
84,
Like, I know
83s
this
up.
gentleman.
93s?
I hope you haven't sent. He probably did too. Why not? They send up their worst people.
He must have said
They
it.
send up people that are criminals. They
It's
send
crazy.
up people from jails. And at best, the best ones they send up are people that don't work very hard and that are on a social form of welfare. And they're sending those people into the United States.
Why are they so high?
I don't blame them. I'm angry at them.
Why is this so high?
But I don't blame them. But I'm really angry at Biden and Kamala and that group of lunatics for allowing it to happen, because it's the hardest thing. Now, you know, we're sending them out. It's incredible.
Why is
the job
investment
that
so high?
Christie and Tom Homan and the whole group is doing. But we shouldn't have to be doing that. We're doing a lot of work on getting people
This
out
makes
of
no
here.
sense.
Tren
He hasn't said it,
Aragua
right?
has caused tremendous damage, and our soldiers are great. You know, our soldiers are now based on merit. They're not based on woke, because we won the case in the Supreme Court, which was the bravest case. I have such respect for the Supreme Court.
Fuck,
because
I
of
should have
what
bought
they did with
that.
Merit, because our country was built
Wow,
on
he's
merit.
going for all of them. He's going for
Countries are
100%.
destroyed on woke.
He's
You know, I
going
made
for
a statement, and I
100.
hated to make it because it sounded bad, but everything turns to you know what when it goes woke. You remember the term. I don't like to use it because you might have some children listening, but it turns bad.
Hottest?
And
here we go.
No, we have the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. That's why he's here. That's why
Oh
every
my
other
God,
country
dude,
wants to
he's
meet him
doing
too.
all the hits,
But we only
man.
have
Every
so many
single
hours in
hit.
the day and days in the week.
Wow.
But
he's going for 100%.
we were a dead country a year and a half
Dead
ago,
country.
and now we have the hottest country. And
Wow, imagine he just hits it with
a
he has got to
Okay,
end
any
it with
other
a curtain or
questions?
something.
Go ahead, you. Please.
Would you like to visit Argentina soon? There is an invitation.
Dude, it's like he knows what the words are, bro. This is
I
crazy.
would love to. I'm just a little busy. I would love to. I'd love to go to Argentina. I'd like to be like Biden. I'd like to go to the beach. You know, my legs are not quite as thin as his. My legs are slightly heavier. My arms are slightly larger. My body is a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach, but I'm not going to take a chance. You won't see me in a bathing suit. You won't see in a bathing suit sitting on a beach in Argentina, falling down and not being able to lift a 3-ounce chair, meant for old people to lift.
This
and
is
he couldn't
silly.
lift it, so we had a problem. He spent too much time on a beach. Somebody told him that he looked good in a bathing suit. And you'd see this guy on the beach all the time.
He's
I never
somehow
quite
Biden in a
understood.
bathing suit, bro.
Steve, go ahead.
He's older than you. Come on, man.
Zelensky on Friday. You expect to talk about weapons?
Yeah, he said invested, but not
Look, I'm
investment
very
yet.
disappointed because Vladimir and I had a very good relationship. Probably still do. I don't know why he continues with this war. This war has been so bad for him. He's going into 4 years of a war that should have beaten. He should have won that war in 1 week. He's now going to soon be into his 4th year. He's lost 1.5 million soldiers, probably close. Certainly in terms of wounded and no legs and no arms and all the things that happen in horrible wars. It's a horrible war. That's the biggest thing that's happened since World War II in terms of death. It's bigger than any of them. I settled 8 of them. The biggest is that in terms of death. Incredible. I think India, Pakistan had great potential too. We did a great job in that one, but he's got to really settle this war. And you know they have long lines waiting for gasoline in Russia right now, right? They have long lines. Who thought that was going to happen?
Someone's trading within
And
the
all of a
room,
sudden
they
his
say.
economy's going to collapse. And I'd like to see him do well. I mean, I had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin, but he just doesn't want to end that war. And I think it's making him look very bad. He could end it. He could end it quickly. And I have to tell you, I give credit because who would think that Ukraine could have fought Russia for 4 years to essentially a standstill? Now, there has been some early, before they knew what the hell was happening.
How is investment so high? I don't
Should
get
have never
this.
let that happen. That's a war that should have never happened, but it did. But it's not making Russia look good.
I
will
don't
tell
get
you.
it why investment is so high. You said invested.
We'll be talking about Ukraine, yeah. I mean, I have the president coming in on Friday, and I know what he has to say. He wants weapons. He would like to have tomahawks. Everyone else wants stuff. And we have a lot of
Yeah,
tomahawks.
only thing here he ever
Tomahawk
drops is a Charlie at the
do
end.
you need any tomahawks in Argentina?
Like, we'll see you at the Charlie Memorial.
You need them for your opposition, I guess, because see, in this country they'd use tomahawks.
I
for
think
the
he's gone through every single
I don't
hit.
do that. I'm much nicer.
The rest of these
Democrats
aren't
would
hits,
use them
you know?
if they had the chance. They're sick people. Go ahead.
President, are you worried that this plan with Argentina can fail?
Anything can fail. Anything can fail. You never know. That's why I say Putin should do something about the war, because so far, I mean, it's turned out to be very bad for him. But anything can. So this plan can fail. Sure, it can fail, but it's got a better chance. I would say, Scott, it's got a better chance of success than failure. And if it's successful, it's an unbelievable success. It can transform your country into greatness. It's got a great chance.
11
We'd like
cents
to give it a chance. Anything can fail, but
are
we'd like to give
available?
it a chance. And we think, because he's made so much progress. I mean, the work that he's done over the last 4 years is incredible. And it would be a shame to lose that progress. He's very close to having
Did he say
a big
investment?
success.
Mr. President, will you consider removing restrictions on the press that
It should be bonded then, if they are so believing in it.
I have, yeah. Well, he's.
He said invested.
I think I can speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself. But I think he finds the press to be very disruptive in terms of world peace and maybe security for our nation. Press is very dishonest. Not you, but the press is very dishonest. You have something to say, Pete?
Well, I very much appreciate the question because it was interesting to watch. We had a chance to go along
Pete.
on the historic trip of Middle East peace, which our generation of veterans never dreamed would be possible. So you would think that the Pentagon press corps of all press corps would be front and center across the board on wanting to give credit to the president for forging this kind of peace, and instead what they want to talk about is a policy about them, which simply says maybe the policy should look like the White House or other military installations where you have to wear a badge that identifies that you're press, or you can't just roam anywhere you want. It used to be, Mr. President, the press could go anywhere, pretty much anywhere in the Pentagon. The most classified area.
I think
in
he
the
said
world.
invested
Or
yet.
also that if they sign
Do
on
I
to
go
the credentialing,
crazy
they're
on
not
this?
gonna
This
try
is
to
a
get
crazy
soldiers to break
bid.
the
I
law
can buy
by giving
1,000
classified
shares of 10
information.
cents.
So it's common sense stuff, Mr. President. We're trying to make sure national security.
No
is
one's betting
respected
on
and we're
1K
proud
at
of the
90
policy.
cents.
You know, we
Unless
have
he
an
said it.
option
Only
here
way it
to-
makes sense.
As you know,
I'd agree,
press
but
years
it
ago
could be
moved into
human
the White
error.
House. It used to be across the street. We could move them. You're lucky I'm president, because we could move them very easily across the street. They used to be there. They would have more room. We have a beautiful, nice space. You can sit all by yourselves and have fun. Instead, you walk around the White House talking to anybody that can breathe.
It'd be at 99
But
if it was
I find
complete.
that when it comes to war, and now our great Department of War, we have some great people over there.
I mean,
think
he
it's
could
sort
just
of-
say it in-
It bothers me to have soldiers and even, high-ranking generals.
You doing groundless
walking around
mention?
with,
That's dub.
you guys on their sleeve.
Dude, I didn't know if it was
They can
close
make a
press or
mistake,
not, so
and
I
a
didn't get
mistake
any
can be
bids
tragic.
early.
They can
Gusta,
do it
but
instantly too. They can, and they're not press people. They don't
I
really
think
deal
it's
with the
worth
press, so
a
they're not
chance,
really
bro.
necessarily good at it. Although I think
It's
mostly
crazy. It's at
instinctual
7
one way or the
cents.
other.
This is
You're either good at
insane.
things or you're not.
This is insane.
But
We're
I
gonna have to
could
run
see
it
you being
back.
bothered
We'll
by
run
that.
it back.
So
We'll
you
run it
have
back
them
and
in
check.
an area and you treat them fairly.
This is
but they're
crazy,
not
though.
allowed
We
to
could
go into
capitalize.
Looks like the
somebody's
He
office
said
and sit with them
invested.
for 10 hours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can understand.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
Dude, is it worth throwing away $70?
are you going to work with or try and work with the mayor of Boston?
Rare material?
World Cup. They have several World Cup games. I know Argentina has got World Cups. They have several World Cup games.
The mineral? Or do you mean for the Kirk
We
moment?
could take them away. I love the people of Boston. I know the games are sold
Yeah,
out.
crazy liquidity
But the
there.
mayor is
My
not
type of
good.
liquidity.
They're worse than her.
Rare. I don't see a
At least
world
she's
where Earth
intelligent.
gets said, bro. It's not in Trump's
Some are
vocab.
extremely low IQ.
Like
Those
he says,
bother
low
me
IQ.
more. She's intelligent, but she's radical left. And they're taking
That's
over
the
parts
fifth
of
radical
Boston.
left today?
That's a pretty big statement, right?
My bet,
We could
this
get
one
them
I've
back
got
in
no
about 2
investment.
seconds. All she has to do is call us. We'll go in and take them back.
Dude, it must
but
be
she's
said.
afraid to because she thinks
There's
it's bad
no way
politics.
someone
She
puts
can
up
take 'em
this
back,
much
too.
money,
The Boston
bro,
police
to
are great.
lose.
And I know them. They love me.
Do I take it?
She'll never tell them to go after Trump because they love me and I love them. And I got
It probably was said,
a
but
tremendous police vote and military vote, and fireman vote, all of them. No, I think she is.
This is crazy,
hurting
guys.
Boston. The answer is yes. If
Invested
somebody
was
is doing a
definitely
bad
said.
job, and if I
Twice.
feel there's unsafe conditions, I would call Johnny, the head of FIFA, who's phenomenal, and I would say, let's move it to another location. And he would do that. He wouldn't love to do it, but he'd do it. Very easily he'd do it. And this is the right time to do it. If I thought Boston was doing something that was going to cause safety conditions for the World Cup, I could say the same thing for the Olympics because we have
World
events
Cup.
that are in different locations for the Olympics.
That's gonna be hype.
It's based in LA. If I thought LA was not going to be prepared properly, I would move it to another location if I had to. On that one, I'd probably have to get a different kind of a permission, but we would do that. Gavin Newsom, he's got to get his act together because had we not gone in at the beginning
Here's Newscom.
of my term, had we not gone in with a very strong, powerful force,
We might get a Newscom
they
here.
would have lost LA. Now, you already lost 25,000 houses to fires. You got a big scar right in the middle of the city. And that should have never happened because they should have had the water flowing in from the Pacific Northwest.
we could get
All they had to
Newscom.
do was open up the valves. He didn't want to do it.
Newscom?
And he didn't want to do it. He says for environmental reasons. I don't believe that. But
Newscom?
for some reason, he didn't want to do it. Lost 25,000. You had no water in the fire pumps. You had no water in the sprinkler systems in the ceilings. There were no houses.
Newscom?
Normally, the things would go in. You might not have lost. You might not have lost 2 houses.
Come on.
So if
Say his
he
name.
if he doesn't play ball, we're going to have to be very tough with him. He's done a bad job. Just to finish off on that. So when we went in, we did a phenomenal job.
We
went
could
in
get a
with
Newscom
great
here.
force, and that was the end of it. We put it out. We extinguished that fire, which was agitation, and it was a very dangerous position to be in. And we went in and did a great job. But the chief, said we could have never done this without President Trump and without the federal government coming in. Okay, that was it.
Investment
He said that.
at 7
Now,
cents,
2 or 3
bro.
weeks later, he said, "Oh, we could have done it." But
What
you
is
know, as I said,
this?
The city was going to be taken over if I didn't go in.
What is
And
this?
you have to remember that Los Angeles was going to be taken over, and we have it where the chief said it. I
What's
believe
up, Dustin?
numerous times, but that was as it was happening. That was a rough one. That was.
You have a
nasty.
conclusion on
And
investment?
if we saw a situation like that, yeah, we'd be forced to make a move. Boston better clean up their act. That's all I can say. Go ahead. One more question.
You said invested, yes.
Shutdowns?
Yeah, please.
I saw that live.
To end the shutdown in the next week, 2 weeks, or would
You're
you
saying I
fund
invested
November,
wouldn't count for
and then toward
investment.
the holidays with folks not getting paid.
Yeah,
Well,
the only
you
thing
know,
is outside of that,
shutdown,
right?
We've had many shutdowns.
Which
This is a
lunatic
shutdown that shouldn't
is
have happened.
placing
A
$2,000
group of
or
people
2,000 chairs
brilliantly
of
decided
8
to
cents
make it after
available?
the election.
Unless
I
they
said,
were
"Thank you
confident
very
it was
much." In
said,
other
right?
words, give it to Trump instead of Biden.
Now I could
So
size up
it should
and be
happen.
like, fuck it,
Likewise, debt
and
ceiling.
lose $100
but
here
The big,
for
great,
fun.
big, beautiful bill
But-
solved the debt ceiling problem for.
Bro,
2 years.
I was there for the invested.
No,
it was
here's what's
spam.
happening
It was
with the shutdown,
spam.
though.
But it was invested, not
Honestly,
investment.
Can I
As
put
soon
it
as
in
I heard it,
plain
I
words
bought
for
it.
you? And you're a smart guy, so you'll understand. But a lot of people don't. The Democrats are getting killed. On the
I think if he
shutdown.
said investment,
Because
it
we're
would have been
closing
resolved
up
too.
programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being.
I'm
able-
going with
and-
these
and they're
7
never
cent
gonna come
shares.
back
Fuck it.
In many cases.
We're in,
able
boys.
to do
We're in
things
for the
that
no investment.
We were unable to do.
We're gonna look. We're gonna look. We were in at 7 cents. Fuck it,
Programs
bro.
That are Democrat programs.
$50 to win
that we wanted
470.
to close up or that we never wanted to happen, and now we're closing them up, and we're not going to let them come back. The Democrats are getting killed, and we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist, we're saving that for New York, but semi-communist programs.
He might have said it
And we're
outside though,
closing them up.
Dustin. It might be one of
We're not
those
closing up
because the
Republican
fact that
programs,
someone's so
which we think
confident
they
they're
were.
losing all this money.
So the Democrats are getting killed.
They keep
but they're
putting
not
up 7
telling
cent
the
shares,
people about
like-
that. I say it. Nobody. Well, I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so
I
we
can
are
lose
closing
$50
up
on that, though. It's
Democrat
okay.
Programs
It's worth
that
a
we think
chance.
that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
Would it be at 99
Thank you very
if he
much.
did
Thank you,
say it
everybody.
for sure?
Thank you.
Maybe. It's done though. It's done. I don't know how we transcript YouTube video. One of these. Are we gonna be able to do this? How are we going to do this? I think we need the live to end.
Was very generous, but I wouldn't be generous to a communist guy.
Beforehand.
The Biden group and Obama he started it. I'll tell you. Barack Hussein Obama started it.
Nice.
Could you give a couple?
Nice.
Of
We
words on
cashed in on that
something
one.
you were telling-
The investment. What does he say it?
If they're going to be sending us stupid policies, clean up the and clean up crime, and we love it. We've in 1 week, Memphis is so good. It's so much better. We'll have it.
Can we
within a
download
month,
this
we'll have
transcript? Is that
into
possible?
A safe city again, and all of these cities, we want to clean them up. We don't like that
Investment is a
opposition.
bomb.
Somebody's going to be a communist mayor of New York. It's a fluke if he gets in. There are a lot of failed people that he's running against.
47-46.
You have inferior.
And he carries the young people. So it's hope for the future. The Argentines have made the decision.
Do I sell my
to
stuff?
Shake off 100 years of bad policy. They went from one of the richest countries.
47-46. Is it done now?
For New York and for every place comes through the White House. And I'm very generous, and I was always very generous with New York, even when you had opposition there, but I was always very generous. But I wouldn't be generous to a communist, a guy that's going to take the money and throw it out the window, because you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. And we're not going to let somebody get into office and squander the taxpayer money from this country. We're not going to let it happen. So it's a little bit like that with, if you take a look, Argentina. If the president doesn't win, I know the person that he'd be running against, I believe, probably. We probably have the person. The person is extremely far left and a philosophy that got
I don't hear it.
Argentina into this problem in the first place.
Investment?
So we would not be generous with Argentina if that happened. If he loses, we are not going to be generous with Argentina.
I don't hear it.
Mr. President, you talk about.
He hates Jewish people. So it comes through the White House. The funding for New York and for every place comes through the White House. And I'm very generous, and I was always very generous with New York, even when you had opposition there.
I don't
but
hear
I was
it
always
still.
very generous. But I wouldn't be generous to a communist, a guy that's going to take the money and throw it out the window, because you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. And we're not going to let somebody get into office and squander the taxpayer money from this country. We're not going to let it happen. So it's a little bit like that.
He
with-
said it at
if
the
you take a look at
start?
Argentina.
Then why is it not 99?
If the president doesn't win, I know the person that he'd be running against, I believe, probably.
Here we go. Correct timestamp.
Socialist, or in the case of New York City, a communist wins, you feel a lot differently about making an investment. I think, Scott, you'd feel.
Oh,
that,
he said it.
If somebody that had no chance, in other words, if somebody wins and
He
has
said
no
it.
chance of ever having a great economy.
Dustin, he
because
said
of
it.
that philosophy.
Dustin, I don't know if you hear, he said it. It was worth the long shot, right? It was after the the fact it wasn't bonded and he said it so early is fucked. That is fucked up, man. Well, we lost $45 on that one. That's horrible. Yeah, I wasted my money on it too, brother. Yeah, he did say it. Fuck! That would have been a good one.
Our approvals are somewhat subject to who wins the election, because if a socialist, or in the case of New York City, a communist wins, you feel a lot differently about making an investment, I think.
Yep. An investment. Clear as day. It's crazy how it was actually said like that. That is crazy, but... So, I missed that one. That's a $40 miss. The fact it wasn't bonded was what got me. The fact it wasn't at 99 cents is the thing that got me. But overall, this market, we did pussy, right? We only live traded that investment trade and nothing else. It was a waste of money. Waste of money on that one. But Right? I couldn't look down a 10 times return, bro. From what I heard, I didn't hear investment. So he did, in fact, say it though. If I heard that first, I would be farming. I'd be farming, and you would know. But we're technically, right? Technically in that market, we're up because he said Barack Hussein Obama. So we're up $200. No. We're up. We lost $50 on that market on our investment long shot, but it was worth a try. It was worth a try. I have a lot more money on this Charlie Kirk Medal of Honor or Medal of Freedom ceremony for Charlie Kirk. I'll be back for this one because that's in 3 hours. It's in 3 hours. So I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go shit. I've been holding this shit for a while. Little loss on investment. We're counting it as an investment in ourselves, in our future selves. I wonder if Dustin still. Yeah, Dustin. Yeah, brutal, bro. It's the fact it wasn't at 99 is what got me, right? Because everything else, once immediately it said it's at 99. So it made me believe that it was at 90 cents because the invested 3 times. It's just brutal. No one caught that. That's crazy. Someone knew he said investment and didn't bond it because they were just picking up 90 orders and they were fine with that. So smart on that guy. He just farmed money, free money there. But there, I guess it is worth to have a transcript live on a separate monitor or something going through so you can control F immediately. I will. Okay, we're getting with the streams. We're getting with the alpha. Soon, it would be really cool, like on stream, I could have the transcript playing as something was getting streamed, because a lot of the stuff I can't show because of copyright, especially like the late night TVs or the South Parks or something. It'd be cool if I could have the live captions there, at least on the screen while I'm trading. But that's for the future though. Because I would have been the same, man. If I knew investment was said, I would have been like let me get my 85. The fact someone was putting so much money there, maybe I should be using the order book as more of a resolution than my own ears, right? But we heard the invested 3 times. I bought it immediately after that, right? Thinking it wasn't said yet. So it is what it is. We lost $50 on that long shot, but we made money overall with the Barack Hussein Obama mention. We are up. If we want to look at what happened to that Jerome Powell market, it is so interesting, right? It was so early, yeah. It's like, dude, the fact it wasn't bonded, the fact someone didn't look back yet and figure out that it was said and sent it to 99, it gave me hope. This is for his October press conference. Do we have a history resolution on our Powell? We do! $250 on our Powell earlier this morning. Yes on shutdown, a no on pardon loss, and our big one. Where's our big one? Not yet, it's not yet shown. But we made huge on a no good afternoon bet. Yeah, no good afternoon bet. $500 payout on no good afternoon. If y'all want to keep hanging out or whatever, I will be back for the Charlie Kirk Memorial at 5 or 6 p.m. One of those. I'm going to go shit and eat and clip up the wins, post it on X and stuff, post on Instagram. And I'll be back for the Charlie Kirk. For the Kirk Memorial, I've got, just as a little sneak peek, we're going to probably adjust our election orders because we weren't getting any fills on this. It's kind of sad. Kind of sad that we've been outpriced over and over and over. But should we send it to 68? We'll send it to 68. I really think he's going to say election. But we've got yes on free speech, yes on young people, Yes on election. We got some fills there. And yes on woke. I am farting continuously. It's almost leaking out my pants at this point. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. I will be back for the Kirk Memorial. Or the Kirk Medal of Freedom ceremony. If anyone's betting on this, hopefully we make more money by the end of the day. And we will see where we are at with our profit loss. I think so far today we are up. We'll say $300. We'll say $300 with our Barack Hussein. With our Powell. I know for a fact, though, my portfolio is currently at 4.4. That is the highest it's ever been. The highest I've ever seen it. Our profile, we are at negative $400 loss. We're climbing up, baby. We are climbing up. I think yesterday I was at negative 800 or something. I don't know. But, look at this. Yeah. Down here. 4 days ago. Negative 1,300 profit. 4 days, no. Yeah, 4 days later. October 10th, negative 1,300 profit. October 14th, negative 400. We're up at $900 in 4 days. We're climbing up. We're climbing up. We're going to get to zero by the end of the week. Mark my words. Okay, we will be back for the Kirk market. I'm